So today we finish off Duratar. I'll probably be pretty much done with it. The only thing I'll miss out on doing is Orgrimmar. I think I'll save that. And our pet kind of left us last time because we couldn't feed it, because I forgot that, or I mean, how well did I really know it, because I've never played Hunters before. The fact that basically you don't get the ability to feed the pet until you go to the capital city, which I imagine is true on Alliance and other races too. That is a little bit silly. But it almost gives me the compunction to, I want to go to Undercity or go to Turstfall Glades, because I did want to make this sort of like a horde exploration character too. Oh yeah, we were going to help her with the alligators. Basically, I'll just finish all the rest of the quests on the outskirts of Orgrimmar, of which there are a few. I was going to get like a bat maybe. So I don't know whether, because trolls do have like a little bit, like with Hirek or something from ZG, there's like some kind of overlap with bats and trolls too. So we get our final thing. Thunder Ridge is cool. I don't know whether that raptor leaving should count as like the raptor's death. It almost should, because the point is I can't dismiss a pet during combat. It didn't die, but I think maybe that's a sign that I'm turning into a superstitious troll. That's like a sign that the raptor isn't meant to be mine. The biggest problem I've had here is the cucking of the inventory. But of course, if you're willing to just go to a bank, it wouldn't be a big deal. Just my reluctance to go to the capital city has cost me a lot in terms of loot, in terms of the pet, because we can't feed it. There's so many issues with not doing that. So our parry chance is decent. And the only thing people might say is, oh, you're over leveled, but there's never like such a rule that you can't do this anyway. But I guarantee it won't be the case later. In fact, I'm going to end up putting myself at a lot of risk because of the simple fact that, oh, here we go. We take revenge for that, but you know, he left on kind of good terms. I wasn't sure that he might just attack me. Look how he hits 26 there, like the boar charge effect. But no, it's like he said, he basically, what do you call it? Oh yeah, I'm going to put myself at a lot of risk because I'm going to explore a lot. Like I want to explore every single zone, let's say, in full. So, or also another condition was, oh, you know what I have enough for? Let's actually start off by doing that. Because then we can fish in the, I have like a sort of backup quest. That's like my own self-created quest. And that is that I have to fish in every body of water that we come across. So I like that they show up on the map. I guess I never noticed that before. I never thought about that. In fact, I didn't notice these either. Or I don't know whether you can fish in those. They're kind of shallow. I was questioning, like, it's a farm, but why the fuck do you have that? I guess it's irrigation or something. But yeah, what I was going to do is let's buy the fishing pole, and then I'm able to, I can fish in the South Fury River. So like this whole section counts as one thing basically. So I'm not going to worry about it when it comes to the ocean. But when it comes to the, I haven't gotten a quest to do the harpies yet actually. In fact, a lot of the quests in Orgrimmar probably send you back out here too. Like the Burning Blade Coven here, I don't think you get that from Razor Hill. You probably get that from within. Oh, and these guys gave me a little bit of trouble too. There was an elite there that could have potentially scared us. There's a lot of quests to turn in. I guess I was just sleeping at her bed. And now I kind of betray her trust by doing that. We sleep in her bed like, you know, oh, we're going to do the alligator quest for you so we can bunk here. Because I'm trying to make a thing where I like log out in a different place every time. But then you don't want it to be somewhere dangerous. Maybe I could log out in Orgrimmar this time and then explore it next time. I want it to be like a full thing. So there'll be like, next time will be a total non-combat experience. And I guess I saw a lot of clips of some of the big streamers trying out hardcore. Of course, now it's turned into like a gimmick thing, like, oh, haha, there's this hardcore add-on. But I guess I take personal offense to that whole idea just because it's like I'm a permadeath player, period. Not that I take a monopoly over it or I'm gatekeeping or something like that. But it's the opposite. It's like you can do a permadeath or a hardcore thing of any game ever, even if you haven't played the game ever before, like a first playthrough permadeath like I sometimes do. So what does that mean as far as like, oh, there's this hardcore mod? You could do the same thing anyway and self-enforce. That's what just kind of annoys me. That even when people do kind of something different and interesting, they do it in sort of a compelled way. Like, oh, they wouldn't do it on their own. They have to sort of be pressured to do it somehow. Yeah, let's say she get that 9 silver fishing pole that I've been looking forward to the whole time. I don't know why it's that big of a deal, but it was kind of like a good checkpoint. I wanted to do it before I left Senjin Village, but... And I guess Senjin Village is kind of unique. Because I don't really remember what the gnomes have, but they certainly don't have something as notable as this equivalent, right? Like you go outside Gnomeregan and there's a bunch of, maybe there's a few NPCs. You'd think I should know that being an Alliance player, but Is there anything for me to even sell? Because I'm being very stingy with keeping these things, and I guess I don't care. It's amazing, not to jinx it, of course, but it's amazing how easy some of this stuff has been. Like, I've had limited bag space. I haven't really had a pet. I've only been using melee, which even level 1 to 10, like I always say, as a hunter should be hard anyway, even if you do have ranged, because you can only use it for a couple of shots, but you would think you would really need to rely on that. No abilities besides this. So the one thing actually that's exciting is this, because even as bad of an ability as it seems, and I don't even think it's that bad, but you know, it may be comparable to heroic strike at this point, it's the fact that it'll have a 30% crit chance, or, you know, assuming that I have like a 10% eventually, which I probably will, it'll have like a 25 to 30% crit chance. So that's actually pretty good. And we can already see that our parry chance is going to be 10%. The only thing I don't like about that is there's nothing that's going to let it go up further, right? Like, it's always going to be 10% and then that's it. Unless I wear like a parry set of gear. So I created some other conditions last time too, like, oh, I can only use a particular mining node once each in the world, and there should be enough. So that'll encourage me to explore too. So for example, I just come up with formats within formats. I did the one there, so now I can never get it again. And basically, I'm almost done with Duratar. There's nothing else to do here anyway, so it won't be that hard to keep track of. And speaking of tracking, you can only choose it when you're in town. So if I want to track Beast now, I can't. I have to go back to a town and then do it. And I mean, even Senjin Village and stuff would count as a town. It doesn't have to be like a, you know, something. I guess that's the only exception where there would be that question. Either it's going to be a major city or it's going to be one of the proper towns like this, which, again, Senjin Village doesn't count even as a dinky town. So that shows you they're shitting on the trolls from the outset. Senjin Village is less significant than Ratchet or Camp Taraho or anywhere. Like, what's the little dinky outpost? There'll be some shitty little place like in Azara that has a house icon. I guess it doesn't, though. There's like some flight path as soon as you enter that constitutes like a town, even though it's not really. I'm being too lackadaisical with not looking at the map, but we are like way over leveled. So we'll have to do a session where we check out Mulgore and Undercity too, Firstfall Glades, just for the fuck of it. We won't even really be leveling there, or I could do all the quests there too, farm up rep, and that'll somehow be constituting something positive. That's what people might try to discredit or something, but you know, I'm making it harder than I have to anyway. Like, I could just ignore the I could just use the bow and the pet too, and just, you know, do marksmanship and use what's it called again? How could I forget that? Aim shot. Like, I could do all of those things. It was even banned in Battlegrounds, let alone it should be banned in PvE to make it too easy. But no, it's basically like I'm just making it harder for the fuck of it. But then people will say, oh, the other purpose of it is like a immersive story game type of thing, and really exploring the horde stuff. So like, this was a fun, flavorful interaction with this one dude who makes you like float up in the air and turns you drunk and stuff. He has all kinds of little, I don't know, abilities he can do to you. So she was like the Chekhov's quest. Like, she was dancing there the whole time, and I'm like, what is her whole deal? And then you finally get a quest from her when you're about to leave. I was almost questioning whether that would be relevant or not. So it's like 9. Everything feels like it has such a good use in this world, right? Like that's really the greatest achievement of classic WoW, is just every NPC, every little thing, every class has its own quest, every spec has its own little nuances, and like, I don't know. Right around here, my commentary kind of bugged out, and my mic just got muted, so it was completely abrupt. I didn't notice. That's one of the pitfalls, I guess, of being a smaller streamer, is nobody was there to tell me or whatever. This is gonna be post commentary for like the next maybe half hour, from 14 to like 42, something like that. And even because of that too, it also muted the game audio at some point. I don't think it did yet, though. You'll still hear it now, but then randomly it starts to mute the game audio, like, oh, you're just listening to the copyright Blizzard Duratar music and stuff. I've never seen that actually happen in a game like this, but this would be my first time actually doing post commentary ever. I normally don't like to do it, like, it's too, I like to do it more reactive, just like my initial thoughts on something. And sure, I might still go into like a diatribe about something that I thought about before, but it's more natural. This feels unnatural and fake and sort of scripted. Not that it is scripted still, but we're going through here. I forgot even what exactly I was doing. It's just, you know, we're really taking our time with the Duratar experience, and on the whole post commentary thing too, there's only 2 other times since coming back to streaming in 2021, October 2021. There's only like 3 instances where this sort of thing happened. So this would be the most recent one. The first one was Life is Strange. Spoilers for Life is Strange season 1. If you haven't played it, you can skip like ahead 20 seconds. But it was basically in the episode where a particular character dies, Kate, and in a way it maybe even helped me. It was a blessing in disguise. Like, I even named it like elitist victim blamer goes one step too far or something. That's sort of one of my nicknames from my old channel, because I'm usually pretty harsh and stuff. And so people would maybe I could have gotten banned or in trouble for it, because I was being so harsh towards Kate. Like, she's crying and something happened to her and she wants our help, Max. And I'm like, no, you're strong. You don't need our help. You stop being a baby. Stop making excuses. And then at the end of the episode, of course, she does something horrible and takes her own life. And so the point is that maybe it's a blessing in disguise, because that was maybe taking it a step too far, but whatever. Incidentally, for the entire episode of that, it was like an hour plus, maybe even 2 hours, I was just muted the whole time. And again, nobody was really watching, so nobody said anything. That's really annoying. I don't know why it was muted. It was like one of those OBS updates that like auto changes your default mic to the Windows mic, which I don't even have on my laptop. Yeah, gaming laptop, PC elitist who uses a gaming laptop. But yes, he isn't so exciting. We're just walking along the road. This is the whole beauty of this type of game, though. It's not about just like one thing. It's the totality of the experience in the world. Same sort of thing you can say about open world games like Skyrim and such. But yeah, that was number one. So yeah, that could be a blessing in disguise, where it muted what could have been taken in a negative way, because it was a very regretful moment. So I'll have to do a post commentary for that one. And then the other one was like Alice Nightmare Returns, or Madness Returns, whatever it's called. It's like Dark Souls with a little murderous girl with a knife and a pepper spray who has psychiatric issues, right, in an insane asylum. It is like a Souls-like combat system, although it came out before Dark Souls technically. And the first episode of that, first playthrough permadeath on Nightmare mode, was muted for some reason. And that time, actually, somebody was in the chat, Riv, who's like a really good chess player, 2,000 plus or whatever. But he's like a really funny guy. So he comes in there and he's typing comments, like he typed like a joke or whatever, but he doesn't notice or care the fact that it's muted. And then later on, on some other stream, I asked him like, oh, how come you didn't say anything? And he's like, oh, I expected it to be that way. I thought it was meant to be muted, just because I'm like so hardcore and focused or whatever. That is actually a thing you can do too. We finally got that fishing pole, obviously the plus. That was like our token gesture to leave Orgrimmar. Durotar. We have to get that item as a send off. Some of the fire can really scare you. But yeah, that was so funny. It's like some people actually do that. Like, you can just do a silent stream, and if people are willing to watch, you don't have to talk. There's no rule that says that. You don't have to talk, you don't have to do face cam, you don't have to show gameplay. You can just show a black screen. And if you want to get 1 million viewers doing that, they might question the authenticity of those viewers, but yeah, so we were obviously cucked by the fact that we couldn't feed our pet, and therefore it ran away. And other than that, that is kind of like a cool eventful moment. See, I even set that permanent condition, like, oh, if our pet dies, we obviously can't bring it back. But here it's a little more dynamic of a winding road occurrence. It's also that I can't dismiss it in combat, because if I dismiss it in combat or abandon it, whatever, that feels like cheating, because we saved its life. Not just its life, but its whole family's life. Like, then you can get another raptor. So in retrospect, it seems fair to count that. Like, you know, I can never get another raptor again because it technically died, even though the reason why it did that was not my intention or doing. Like, I didn't try to cheat it by saying, oh, he's gonna die. He wasn't gonna die, but because we were starving him out, not by choice, then he runs away in the middle of look, we got it too. This is the one that I've been struggling even in, oh my god, it's sitting here for so long. I mean, I stream every minute that I play this, because you'll see how many times throughout these episodes that I actually fucking try to do this one. Basically, it's a side quest, sub-quest, where I'm trying to fish in every single body of water in the world as we go through it, and that would include Stormwind, that would include other things, so the putting myself at risk, I'll die trying to fish in the fountain in some of the moats and stuff of Stormwind. Maybe I won't count those, but you know, it's like the achievement. I was the achievement hunter before achievements even existed. I was a hardcore permadeath player before the little gimmicky add-on came out. So that's me sort of nitpicking. Like, people will take it, you know, oh, well, you were complaining that people aren't playing the game in all these different ways, but then it turns into a sort of like you're missing the big picture. right? Even when people are willing to try stuff like this, they're doing it as a reactionary gimmick. Like, oh, there's this hardcore add-on. Wow. Meanwhile, people have done speed runs and permadeaths and stuff like that of this game and all kinds of games over the years. Of you don't need that to do it. Is what I'm saying. Like a lot of people would have explored the map and tried to fill every area out just to do it because they want to explore, they want to see the world, they want to do it completionist sake. They're not doing it to get achievement points in Wrath, right? Is when that came out, or they're not doing the thing to get hardcore add-on. Now I can flex and brag about it. Like I'm doing it. I've done the same thing before. I mean, I take it maybe a little personally, that it gets reduced to a gimmick. So people go back to that video now where I'm saying like, oh, people want to play it in such a narrow way and streamers and such, but then they'll say, well, streamers are doing hardcore now. We sure showed you, even though that's completely still missing the point. There's something about multiplayer games that does like two demerits. I guess nothing really interesting is happening on the screen anyway, so I'll just go on tangents, but yeah, what a great part to get muted too. Just me trying to fish and me running up and down. There is going to be a lot of running around on foot, obviously, because not just because that's just the nature of leveling before you get a mount, but at least we get aspect of the cheetah or whatever. But I also, we're going to get dazed while using it. That was my ultimate BM as a warrior. Some idiot hunter using that, and they get dazed by a warrior who has no way of catching up to them because you shoot them with your bow or something. That was always kind of a cool mechanical thing to take advantage of. Look how long I sit and commit to doing this. You have to sit through the whole thing too. I believe in the long form postulate is my prognostication, where you have to, if something's worth doing, it's worth doing in every aspect. It's not like I ever expect anybody to watch like every second of it either. You can always skip through. That's the beauty of YouTube more than streaming. Yeah, what was I saying? Just the fact that, sometimes people do things as a gimmick. And when it comes to multiplayer stuff, it does like two sort of demerits. One is that people are willing to look stuff up that they normally wouldn't be. If it's a single player game, it's like, anybody could look up, oh, Dark Souls, what's the best build? What's the best strategy to beat this boss? Stuff like that. But it feels dishonorable in a single player game to do that or to ask for help or advice, right? So even people who, there's a cynicality. Maybe it's because, the game is so big and there's so much to do that people resign themselves to the fact that, it would take forever to figure out a game like this or whatever, completely blind, which is maybe fair, but it could be part of the fun. Like, what's the rush? You're not just trying to get to the end game and do raids. You could get stuck. You could try to figure stuff out. You could struggle. That's part of the fun. I guess I'm one of the few people who, maybe a lot of people do enjoy it, but you don't really see that reflected too much. Like, getting stuck is a good thing. Making mistakes is a good thing. If you make some suboptimal build, that's maybe sometimes how some of the best builds come about. Or more to the point, even if they don't come about, it's the case where, so what if you're using a suboptimal build? You don't need the optimal build just to level up or just to get through it. So I guess this pool of water wasn't so bad. Yeah, see, I'm not good at post-commentary either. Because, well, I guess not much is happening on the screen, but you have to be in the mindset. Like, this was a couple weeks ago now. We're a couple weeks behind with the series. So I don't want to say stuff that happened after this or give stuff away. But I also don't remember exactly what I was doing here either. This episode was sort of this wasn't the Duratar like wrap up yet. This was more just, I think we were doing like the Quillbore quest and stuff. And this is episode 2 where we have a couple close calls. Which I guess that's not even spoiling it because I already posted that clip. Then we had this Lord of the Rings moment that it made me think of, where like I'm playing as the Bjorn, which is almost like a druid. And there's a first playthrough permadeath of that, and I'm a clown, and I say it's not enough for a first playthrough permadeath. I also have to do it on difficulty +6. Like there's like this NPC who gives you a quest that makes the game harder. So I'm trying to do it on like legendary +6 difficulty, which you have to be like a twink to be able to survive. That's sometimes the bad thing about MMOs, although you can play around it to some extent. It's the fact that a lot of the things are sort of locked values. So for example, if you're fighting something 5 levels above you or an elite, it could just be that it's mathematically impossible to kill it. So you just die, or you have to get away. There's no middle ground like, oh, I play it so skillfully that I can kill. I mean, kind of, you can kite stuff and you can try to find a creative way to do it. But there will be times where like, that's just way too strong. You just can't do it. And that's just it. And on the flip side of that, there'll be sort of an inevitability like, oh, you're always strong enough to kill it, so as long as you don't play like a total clown. I do feel like people made too big a thing about backpedaling and stuff. It's like, That's sort of my philosophy, right? Like, you can criticize whatever I'm doing, but only if I die. If the goal of the playthrough, and of course, as a hardened, permadeath player in so many games, sure, I'm doing this thing suboptimally in GTA 4 and people complain, and then I do 100% perfect run, no mission failure, nothing. It's like, sure, criticize the way I was driving, or criticize the way I was using my gun, or what my aim is bad. But I could even spin it like, oh, well, I was doing it on purpose, and that ended in a run that nobody else has done, or at that point, I don't know. Like, it was such a big deal that you can even validate it, even though I'm more objective than saying that. Like, sure, I'm not perfect, but whatever my way worked, if I succeed. If I fail, then you can criticize anything, right? It's sort of a false duality issue, though. Still, I could do really well at something, but then if I die, people will say, oh, well, you died because you did that wrong, you should do it differently, or vice versa. I could succeed, and then people will glorify things I do that aren't good, like, oh, wow, this guy did a world first permadeath, so therefore everything he did is perfect and we should try to copy it, even if I did a lot of things wrong. Objectively, my aim was bad, I was missing something. So there is some sort of middle ground you have to find, like, where not everybody's going to be perfect with stuff like that. But I do like how I bring my sort of nature into everything. It's not enough to do a first playthrough permadeath, or it's not enough to do a permadeath of this. Like, I'm playing a hunter for the first time, but really, I've never gotten one to 60. I've never played one except for my, for initial experience very briefly. And so it seemed like, oh, it's too easy of a class. So I kind of made a couple different character class builds that I could choose between. Either I can have the pet, but then I can't use the bow, or either I can have the bow, but I can't use the pet. The trade-off with that is you'd only be able to use it for a little bit because the enemies are going to run at you, kind of like the same way you play it from level 1 to 10. You'll be doing that like the whole game, except obviously you'll have concussive shot and some abilities, and you can kite and stuff. But the general reality of it is people don't often appreciate the challenge of not knowing what you're doing. They want to create like a controlled environment, like where they know all the mechanics, they know all the secrets, the answers, and now it's just a matter of pure execution. Almost sounds like I'm talking about chess or some kind of contrived game like that, where, it doesn't feel as satisfying that way. The little Ganondorf fishing pole insert joke here. I should do a counter for that every time I accidentally am about to fight something with a fishing pole, because it's so dishonorable. Oh, we actually killed it with that too. I guess I am a degenerate like that. I always would say I'm not a cheeser who's going to use the fishing pole on Ganondorf to distract him. Like, if you bring the bobber above his head in the middle of the fight in Twilight Princess, he just gets distracted unless you get a free hit in. The kind of thing that some moron would have done just to RP or whatever. Ganondorf is our biggest catch yet, whatever the fuck. And then they find out that, like, who would actually even try that? How would you even know that? Like, somehow they hacked into the game files and they find out. Like, Nintendo did this really weird thing. Kind of weird seeing, I keep calling it Breath of the Wild 2, which was the stupid name that was suggested. So I guess that was kind of a good call by me. I said, like, wow, that seems like a really dumb name, and I think that was the official name. But then they changed it to Tears of the Kingdom, or at least they revealed that that's what it was. So that's at least better. Although for some reason I always thought of that as a spin-off. As soon as I heard Tears of the Kingdom, I'm like, oh, that's some spin-off that's like Hyrule Warriors or something, right? Like that. But yeah, I still haven't even played the original Breath of the Wild, so it's kind of going to be hard to avoid spoilers and stuff. Like, oh, spoilers, Ganondorf will die at the end, which you might not think is really pertinent, like, of course, but some of the games don't even have Ganondorf, so there is some mystery to that. Like, Majora's Mask doesn't have him. Even Twilight Princess makes you think Zant might be the big bad guy, and that would be good enough. Oh yeah, Zant comes up with one of the... This is kind of a good discussion I had back in the day. It's sort of like a Fall Guy villain. What was it that I just saw the other day that made me think of that? Where there's like a secondary villain that they make look like a clown to try to make the other villain better. When I always say you can have both, right? You can have both be good without diminishing one or the other. So then I use Death Note to kind of show that in a good way. Like, L and Light can both be portrayed as smart while making each other look impressive without making either one look dumb, right? It doesn't have to be the expense of another. So Zant, throughout the whole of Twilight Princess, looks like a really badass, mysterious character who's very powerful and intimidating, and you always, get off by the skin of your teeth, kind of. Midna saves you, or something saves you. He curses you with the thing that turns you into a wolf and stuff like that. And so he looks badass until the final meeting, and then all of a sudden he starts contorting his body like a clown and making these weird noises and all this kind of stuff. And so he tells that story where he's portraying, like, to me, Ganondorf looked like a god, like coming to house his power in me and stuff like this. But they didn't have to make him look so out of control. Like, you know, that you could say that's the point. Like, oh, it's borrowed power, it's not his own, this and that. But the fact is, yeah, what a perfect time for this to actually be muted. At least nothing interesting is going on that you'd miss out on. But no, it's just a case where you don't always need to diminish one to raise the other. So Ganondorf can still look like a badass and a god by comparison, but it doesn't mean that Zant has to look like an idiot. If you look at the Zant fight, you know, he's flailing around, he's making these noises, he's just totally out of control. That's not the way they present him the rest of the game. So I guess you could say, you know, it's one of those, like, the Emperor has no clothes. Like, once you actually hold them accountable, he's not actually that strong, but or he is, but he doesn't know how to use it because it's not his power. Like, we kind of get the point. He's a pretender. That's even what his title is, right? Like, usurper Zant. What is his full title? A usurper King Zant. Obviously, Midna is the rightful heir or whatever, the princess, and he just steals her thunder. There's a recent example I just saw of that where I was criticizing something, where it was like the same thing. They make one, maybe it was like the Code Geass discussion. So Code Geass and Twilight Princess being compared for the first time ever, like with the Emperor. The Emperor goes out like a clown. I already delivered my criticism of that scene, like where it's some kind of hocus pocus garbage in the Geass, like they're in that chamber and the Emperor's like, your Geass won't work on me, nor will it work on anybody else here. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Obviously, he would have thought of that if your Geass would be a defining factor. But then they do this kind of ass pull shit where Lelouch uses his Geass on the eye itself, like on the, what does he call it? Collective consciousness. Please don't stop the flow of time or whatever he's trying to do. Right, like keep the world in a perpetual thing of the past. They even say it like that. Like, Charles wants the past, Schneisel wants the present, but I seek the future, kind of like that. So what they do is Schneisel's the real final boss, which is really well earned because he's always kind of lurking in the background, and he's kind of a very well written character that I always praise. But the mistake is, in order to make Schneisel seem so badass and he's the final boss, it doesn't mean that you have to make the Emperor look like a complete idiot and just sort of abandon that, right? So that scene was a complete waste, where he just takes out Marianne and Charles just by simply using his Geass on the thing. Like, obviously, if for the amount of planning that Charles put in the whole show, like, he's the primary antagonist for the whole thing. It's like, oh yeah, he could have just used his Geass on the collective consciousness of mankind, the Ragnarok connection itself, and that's it. That's all it would take. Even though he couldn't use it on himself, on Charles or on anybody. He even says that line, nor will it work on anyone else here. But then the writers say, oh shit, you're right. We didn't think of that. So we got to just pull something out of her ass and say, oh, he can use it on the system itself. Makes no sense. That's so unsatisfying of an ending. And of course, people will fanboy over stuff like that, but it's still a great series. That doesn't take away from its overall quality, but... So yeah, here we're doing the Cold War thing. It really surprised me how many Cold Wars are actually in this zone. Like, just you got the thorns here, you got some on the opposite side, you got some even to the corner. This is really not my style of doing things. I realize now this is like my first time doing it, maybe ever, or at least since coming back. I really don't like it. Or even just making videos like with the script. I don't know. I guess everything I like to do is sort of just improvisational, which is why I'm bad at certain things, because I don't enjoy, you know, sort of doing them over and over and sort of rehearsing. People sometimes criticize that, like, oh, I'm playing EVE Online, and somebody's talking shit like, oh, I don't even mind it. Like, I'm a, you know, I invite stuff like that, like, oh, just mitigate the damage when people are making fun and sort of, you know, you should have avoided that thing that killed you in one hit that was unavoidable, that was completely not your fault. And I encourage that. I should have still found a way to minimize it or remove the need for that position to happen, if it's like some kind of one-shot mechanic or whatever. But the point is that I'm playing EVE Online for the first time, and people are like, wow, this guy's so lost. This guy has no idea what he's doing. But that's kind of the whole point, isn't it? And then I still invite it further. Like, you can talk shit, but then it's still a first playthrough permadeath, so if I die, it's over. So there's a sense of value in that. Like, you know, it sort of validates it. I have to figure stuff out, otherwise I die. So that keeps me more immersed too than I would be otherwise. I was trying to get like the chest here, but this is where you sort of run into the false duality of problems in the, like, I was promised dead servers, but then they're not dead, and then there's people here, right? Like, I swear, I didn't know that this was sort of becoming a big thing that people are going to start doing this year. Hardcore playthroughs. Wow, what a novel concept that nobody's ever thought of before. I find that just kind of annoying. I happen to be doing it because it was something I had done before, and it's something I do in all games. Just like either, even MMOs and stuff, I'll try to do permadeaths, get to max level without dying. But yeah, so one of my most viewed videos is like, it just got picked up by the algorithm because this is something people are interested in at the time, even though I had done this 4 years ago and talked about it then. So I guess it's sort of deserved. Like, I was so ahead of the curve, but back then either people didn't care or they just kind of dismissed it and get some hate for it, which I still get now, but that's fine. But it's more like they just didn't realize, like, you could be 4 years late. So maybe that's my mistake. You have all these great takes like on Alex Botez and predicting what's going to happen with chess and cult of personality and all these different things. There was one in particular that I won't even say. Somebody whose name starts with an E and somebody whose name starts with an R. There's screen names. And basically the point is that I predicted something with them, or at least, oh yeah, here's that cool mechanic where I can only destroy stuff in a fire. It doesn't have to be that big of a fire either, but maybe somewhere between this size and like a lantern. You don't want it to be like that little dinky torch you see by the Quobor. That shouldn't count because that's too small and too easy. So in other words, if my bags are full and I'm out adventuring, I can't just magically destroy something. I have to burn it in a fire, or I have to just keep it and deal with it. The bag space was definitely a big issue at this beginning part of the game. So you like, oh, we ninja loot the chest from her, but it's not like I want her help either. But no, like, you're promised dead servers, but then you have this. So you got to make up your mind, right? I might not have wanted to do this unless the servers were dead. It creates a good environment. Although I've done it before when they're not, but it always annoys me when people like try to buff you and stuff. Yeah, now all the streamers will do it, which is, you know, again, it's fine, but the real lesson isn't about... Sometimes you have to see the big picture. It's not about this game. It's not about this exact thing of doing... It's not about... Yeah, see, that's good. At least honorable sense. If she knows I'm doing hardcore or something, they're like, oh, don't help me kill that. Or maybe she does now. Never mind, I take it back. It's not about one idea, right? Like, oh, we're doing hardcore now, or oh, we could be doing speed runs, or we could try to speed run through the content. Not like speed run 1 to 60 to see how fast you can get there, but, you know, speed run through raids and just try to do everything as quickly as possible, and then complain, oh, the game's too easy and there's not enough stuff to do, which is totally the cyclical process. But this applies to so many games, right? This is why so many online games that have amazing content and replayability and all this kind of stuff, they die out because everybody does it in a very zero-sum way. And I feel like maybe people will defend that by saying, well, once you've done the content once, you don't want to do the same quest again, you don't want to level in the same area again and stuff. But like, if you just sort of give it a chance, you might realize that it would be fun. Like, oh, you want to get every class from 1 to 60, or you want to do every... There are enough things to mix it up. You can do different professions every time. You can do different leveling zones every time. There is like sort of a branching, forking path in the road offered to you a lot of the time. Like, you know, at level 10, you can go to, as an Alliance player, you can go to Westfall, you can go to Loch Madan, you can go to Darkshore. There are a lot of options. So who has really done every little thing 100% in the game? Probably nobody, but everybody wants to pretend. I guess the one thing I wasn't accounting for enough, I'm considering destroying linen. That's a cardinal sin. There's going to be some shortage of resources later because of how long this will go on for, too. Because the copper nodes are going to be like, you know, I can only get one of each. That's kind of a ridiculous condition that probably nobody's ever done before. But it's a good way to prevent you from farming. And it's a good way to encourage you to explore. Like, there will be enough resources in general, but... Yeah, see, I'm not even going to pay attention to what's happening. Like, we did the thing, we read the quest. I will pass along word that the Quobors have been removed from their layers, and that their structures may be set to fire. The removal of the Razormane from Durotar, that's us one step closer to being safer and taking over the land. Yeah, I even postulated that there might be more Quobor NPCs in Durotar than there are orcs, if you don't include Orgrimmar. It's kind of like the same problem that Skyrim has to a lot of people. It's like, How can everybody be so holly and jolly in town when there's literally more enemies, more wild animals and enemies out in the wild than there are by a 10-to-1 ratio of people in towns, right? It makes the world feel super inhospitable. But I guess you could use a real world context to try to defend this. This is a big mystery as far as like what this body of water is. It's not above, it's not anywhere here. Like, it must be below, underground somehow, but I don't know exactly where that could be. Yeah, it's a case where, you know, you could analogize that to real life. Like, wow, Skyrim has way more enemies than it does actual people, so it makes the world feel way too unforgiving and nobody would feel at peace. But you could say the same thing, like, okay, well, Earth has how many insects and how many wild animals and stuff. You could sort of analogize it that way. The Barrens is kind of pushing me too. It gave me a quest, like, as soon as I got to Razor Hill, it's like, wow, you're already so over leveled that you should totally. And I love how people say that too. They'll complain and say, oh, you're over leveled. Meanwhile, you're only using melee. Not that I even need to use that as a crutch, but, or people will complain, like, how can you say melee only when you're using a pet and you're using engineering bombs and items and stuff? But that's the whole point, is like, I'm sort of making a character build. As far as like the hunter herself, she's not able to use a gun or a bow or even throwing weapons, but you are able to throw a bomb because that's not part of your hunter class. And even my pet can use ranged. In fact, I think that's sort of what I was deciding on. We can sort of do a little split damage thing. Like, we have the pet super far away and we have ourselves right next to the enemy. So then we let the pet pull aggro, then we chase it, or I don't know. Then we throw a bomb at it so we can keep kiting them back and forth between us. Because I kind of want to tank now because of the counterattack ability. Not that it's even that good, but between my amazing dodge chance from aspect of the monkey and from my amazing ability to parry stuff, 10% plus, which I don't think that ever really goes up. In fact, it might even go down, but it'll be always at least a 5% chance. It's closer to a 10% chance once you get all these talents. Yeah, look at how exhaustive this Durotar experience really was. Like, spending like 4 or 5 episodes on here, haven't even been to Orgrimmar yet, still haven't explored the northeast part of the map, where basically there's not much there, I don't think, besides the Zeppelin and stuff, and the other Burning Blade Coven, which you can't even do until you go to Orgrimmar first, and then they tell you to do it, something like that. But yeah, like, if Durotar was a game, it would take you like 20 hours to beat, and it would be a thorough, satisfying experience. Like, one zone, just the starting zone alone, on one single class, within one single spec, is like a whole 20-hour potential thorough experience. That shows you the greatness of these games. Sometimes, sure, it might be quantity over quality, but there's also a sense that you can really value that. Like, there's no way that you can measure up to that in a single player game. As much as you might praise, okay, Oblivion, Skyrim, Dark Souls, none of them have this scope of the world, and I kind of want to see that. Oh, you know what? I think I was muted for a while there. I don't know why. That's weird. Oh, wow, that ruins the whole thing then. I guess I could do post commentary. I don't know why that was the case. Was it like that the whole time, maybe? Nice. Okay, we'll do the alligator quest for this chick. I don't know why it was like that. We did our beast tracking, and then we basically have to just do the humanoid stuff. I can't really think like what else there would be to do here. I think there's a couple quests maybe that tell you to go here, but mainly those quests have to do with the fact of, what do you call it? Like, they might have to do with going to Orgrimmar first, basically. There's a chest there, but I'm pretty sure I already got that one, or maybe I didn't. It's just such a weird angle, like protruding out, that it's going to bait you to go in there and try to take it. Oh, look, we've nabbed another chest from this chick, but I guess technically now we're going into her domain. But if you try to get it, you're going to get killed by something behind, I bet. Or she'll nab it before me. I mean, even in the compelled feeling that these people are helping you is what it is. I don't know what to really make of it. Yeah, being melee and being survival so far doesn't seem that bad. And it might seem like, oh, it'll get worse later, but it'll actually get better because you'll get better weapons and whatnot. Is she gonna take it? Yeah, nice game. Nice video game. It's like, I was promised dead servers. I don't know what else to say, dude. Like, now, that's one of those Alice moments, like, where I'm playing Alice and I'm muted and I don't even realize it. I don't know why or how that happened either. Yeah, we'll go do the alligator, do the Fizzle Darkstorm, and then basically just wait outside Orgrimmar. Or, like, we could basically wait outside, like, a hut there. Yeah, like, I wonder if there'll be enough to sufficiently cover that, considering how long this playthrough is going to go on for. Enough little houses and huts in the wild, or enough places that actually feel appropriate to log out in. Like, every town you can use once, every city you can use once. That almost doesn't seem enough, though. But that'll force you to kind of keep it moving and not dick around too much in one spot, which I'll still end up doing, obviously. That is the whole name of the game. So we come back and we have Thunder Ridge here. This is a good way to find like what kind of beast you want to tame, but yeah, like this is maybe the one that I was actually thinking about, but I won't dare to get one before. Yeah, I still don't know whether to count that actually. Whether the guy leaving my service should count as him dying and not being able to get a raptor again. I really don't feel like it should. And it would count for every kind of raptor like that too. You could totally fall in here and die. I don't know if that fall damage would actually kill you, but, you know, it's a good beginner's trap. At least I know this much. Made this little jump across that couldn't possibly do you in. Fuck, I'm doing parkour on top of everything else. And now we go up and down the river like we would do in Hillsbrad and just kill a bunch of crocodiles. Not unlike we would do with the turtles there. I don't know why I was so infatuated with doing that, but I'm kind of ignoring too many enemies that could get me in trouble. And I don't even have room for it in my bags, and there is no maybe fire here. Or I guess you could cheat the system there and make your own fire like with flint and tinder. Oh wow, this is gonna be a problem. I don't actually have a way to get rid of anything. What a mistake. I like these crits, which we're gonna see a lot more of actually as we go on. I mean, our parry chance is at least good enough where that's gonna come into play later, like with the ability to I guess I could make these into bandages. I could just use them for no reason. That's kind of a bit of a cheese tactic, but I'll do it. Oh, you'd have to wait like fucking 5 minutes to do it though. Well, it's not like they're gonna drop it right away. You can almost barely see it there. That's actually kind of good camouflage by them. We've already learned the way of water. We've conquered that weakness in ourselves, so that's no concern at all. Right, when we learned how to swim through Senjin Isles, and then we came back without needing to stop at any of the other islands. I don't know, at some point bandages are gonna maybe come into play. It's kind of doing way too much to me for a level 9. Strength reduced by 9, but then again, I can't expect that it's gonna be that good. Like, we almost have to fight stuff lower level than us. Leather boot, but it doesn't even have any fucking value. I was thinking it's an upgrade. That is one of those rare generic items that actually seems like it's a real item. Oh, this dude's level 11, so we better use the, I was gonna say hero power or racial, and we might even need to use a potion or something. Or fuck it, I'll just spam these every chance we get. So this will be a bit of a bandage run. Like, why do you need to eat food when you have bandages? Between all our mitigation, like, look for all the parries and dodges. We have like an 8%, 10% chance to dodge, and then we have a 17% chance to dodge, and it'll be at least 10% chance to parry. So between those two, and of course it'll go up because of agility, but then again, it kind of scales down once you're at a higher level, with like how much each agility gives you. That is actually kind of scary. Getting parried. We could get one of these as a pet. Like, there's so many things you could potentially do. Or we need to get a pet that doesn't require food. Like, what would be some sort of animal that would be self-sufficient that way? It lives on only water. It's like a fish. You gotta look out for that amulite, because anything else I'm not gonna be able to loot, and just keep spamming this for the fuck of it. At least we are making a little bit of use out of it instead of just purely, you know, doing it just to burn them up. and make space. Like, count the mitigations. 1, 2, 3. And it's not even because he's that much lower level. We mitigated 3 hits in a row. We get mitigated, which that much is fine. I'm surprised this Tomahawk dodge again. This Tomahawk is doing such good damage. Or no, that was him dodging us. We learn it from the wild beasts. I mean, bone. So it is just going to be one of those random drop things. I think that one of these will eventually give you. It gives you the illusion that, like, oh, you might only have to kill 1, but then it ends up being like they could tell you go kill 50 of them and it would still take shorter than what this is going to do. This is pretty satisfying how many parries you get. Like, this is a single player solo tank experience, and somehow your damage is still not so bad yet, at least. Although I say that and I'm almost getting killed by level 9s. So look at how far you can actually get with barely any rested experience, because I haven't sat in the inn at all. I've gone from like level 1 to almost 15, let's say, we'll get to before we leave here. In what is supposed to be like a level 1 to 10 zone. We're kind of flirting with the barons here. Oh, this is the one that's really going to get you on land like that. Totally take you by surprise. Average day in Florida, am I right? That's why Republicans like guns so much. Not because of self-defense, but because an alligator is going to fucking attack them in Florida, or something's going to attack them a scorpion's going to attack them in Texas. This isn't looking too bad. I guess I'll have to go back and look at how... We're not going to take a chance with that. We'll just use a potion. See, now they're going to start to have these abilities that actually do meaningful amounts of damage. You might do it again. They're certainly mitigating me a lot more than maybe you would expect. Like, just play it safe, even though that potion is pretty valuable, and I don't know how or when I'm going to get more. Let's use one of these. I don't really have any other outs besides that. Like, what if I just lost that combat encounter somehow? You probably deserve to die then, but... It's going to be that one of them drops it and I don't even notice. And then I wonder what would happen. Like, what if you don't loot it and then you come back and just... Yeah, that could be one of his bones. Let's just pass that off. That's an orc bone of her kid who was trying to be too much of a badass and hunt them for no reason. Don't want to get too close to the barons. In fact, I don't really even want to discover the barons yet. Officially. Look how shallow this water is. Oh yeah, I forgot to fish here even. Why is he going so far back left? Oh yeah, and you can brush up against the Orgrimmar Bridge, and then behind there is Ashenvale. Clear separation of biomes, but I do like how it ties together so well. The Night Elf region is very hotly contested for them. Like, it almost feels more like an Orc territory than a Night Elf territory, because it's way closer to Orgrimmar. Like, look at where Darnassus is compared to that shit. You kind of want to use the hero power here as well. I'll keep calling it that. Roll hero power. This is kind of an inventive thing, though. Even I haven't done this sort of thing before, where I create like my own character class for it. It would start to get pretty difficult without the pet at all. Like, what if we try to do it commando style and just don't do any sort of pet at all and just do straight up melee? What would I be able to do then to make it easier? Maybe nobody's ever done that before. Okay, we've got to finish him off quick. Strength reduced by 10. There's going to be some ability that he does randomly at that point. Oh, look at that, dude. Now we have to make the bandages to be able to make room for that, which means I won't be able to make room for the quest item. Or actually, let's just top this off. We did actually learn the ability, so that's our first green ever. And you might not think it's that good, but it's going to be way better than what I have. So every little meaningful upgrade is going to... Everything is going to be a meaningful upgrade. Like even, you know, anti-Diablo style, where like you'll get an upgrade constantly. Now it'll be very rarely, but it'll be a big moment. So this does 5.8 versus 3.8, 7 to 14, and it has 1 strength, which isn't really what we want, but... I'd love to get rid of the Tomahawk, but yeah, I'm really not going to have room, so I guess I better just go back. I have to make room for fish, too, to be able to fish there. This is kind of a pain. I don't know what I can do to reduce this, because we can't use the bank yet. We can't get bags, apparently, ever. And so we're kind of just screwed. We can get a bag from that quest, I guess. I'll become a tailor just to offset that fact in the early game. But yeah, engineering was an interesting choice just because I've never really done it much in the past. It feels almost cheese, like, oh, it's something that, really pay to win players would use, like just to get carried by a main to have like constant bombs and stuff. But I think it'll be so difficult to actually utilize it that it might make it very fair. You're gonna have to make them really count when you use them. I don't have a quest to kill those Kodos down there, the Thunder Lizards, and I also don't have a quest to let me sort of kill the Harpies, so I'm sure we're gonna get those at some point. But it's possible we get them from Orgrimmar itself, which is kind of weird, but they all kind of still do that. They're not gonna send you like from Orgrimmar straight to the Barrens, or like Sylvanas will even have quests to do in Tirisfal Glade still. I don't know how I even know a lot of this stuff. Like, sure, you might know it some by collateral, just like hearing stuff over time, but it's not like I really played with as a Horde that much. Now, this one, I don't know whether I did it or not. I guess I have to defer to the fact that maybe I did it. We've already gotten a decent amount from here, so I'm not going to make a big thing out of it. We'll even have a chance to do Tirisfal Glades and stuff later. I'll do Mulgore and Tirisfal Glades, not for that reason, really, but that's kind of tough. I can't say for sure whether I did that. It's very hard to keep track of. That's the kind of thing you would almost want an add-on for. Not to make it easier, to make it harder and make it more authentic as far as... Let's go back on the path here. Now, my damage value should automatically be far better. So I'll sell the axe, and I don't know what else to do, because none of these things... Yeah, I'll just use up all my potions, I guess, to make room. Or you know what? I'll sell the bandages. I don't need them. So I'll sell the bandages and the axe, and then I'll go and fish there and get the Kron's amulet, and then we'll finish off by doing the fucking goblin thing. It's amazing how many problems this had recording too, like, oh, the bitrate has to be higher and stuff. I guess I can't complain that much. There's just like literally one person. At least last time there were a lot, like in that little cove over the first little Kobold camp. And I was stunned actually to see how many of these little outposts they have. Like I said, it could be calculated that there's more, excluding Orgrimmar, there's more Quillbore NPCs than there are Troll or Orc. And maybe even, no, not combined, but... Because it's like one of those problems you see, like in Skyrim, where like there's way more enemies in Skyrim, even without respawns, than there are NPCs in the game. So like you combine everybody in every major town, Whiterun and Winterhold and all these things, and it's like there's 20, 30, 50 people there, and there's like literally 50 enemies in every single cave you go in, or along the road as you go from one cave to another. Like, it doesn't make sense within that context that... I guess you could look at it like that in real life. Like, how many animals are there compared to people, but assuming that they're hostile and trying to kill you every 5 seconds. That's how the world was. It's realism. So, sell this and sell... What was the other thing? There's a lot of stuff I'm keeping that people might question, but I think I'm okay with it. Oh yeah, the bandages don't really matter too much to me. Let's go ahead and repair our shit, and then we can figure out something else to do. A little bit more back and forth than I would like, but see, I already got my first meaningful upgrade ever. And what's the strength I should do for us? Just increases damage probably alone. And you might think, oh, melee attack power, so I don't want that. But actually, I do want that. We'll be a strength hunter rather than agility. But this, of course, gives you attack power with both melee and ranged, and improves crit, and gives you armor and chance to dodge. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with that. If only it gave you a chance to parry, then at least you would feel justified, like, you know, that's actually a fitting spot for it next to the mining pick. I don't know what this body of water still is. We learned the way of water, but it still puzzles us nonetheless. Okay, now we have guaranteed enough backspace because there's nothing else I should need to get. It's not like the crocodiles are going to drop cloth or something, right? Got to take the track all the way back. Of course, once we get aspect of the pack, it'll be perfectly fine too. Yeah, see, nobody really plays it like this, especially. Or at least if they were, they wouldn't be in the context of a permadeath run. But that's kind of part of why I like permadeath stuff too. It's just like it gives you a sense of immersion and finality. Like if I die, I might not play this again ever. Like, not that I am gonna die, but and even once I complete it, like I don't know that I'll do another one for a while. So it's a one-off thing that you're going all in. You're not just doing it just to get through it. Even go so far as to do permadeath in chess and in card games and stuff. Maybe it's a bit of an obsession. So speaking, as much as I mock people, oh, they're doing it as a gimmick, but for me, it's more like a way of life. Like, the whole first playthrough permadeath aspect is very, very much my ownership. Like, play a game when it comes out for the first time and don't look anything up and don't take any advice and just do it solo if it's a multiplayer thing, which by today's standards pretty much everything is. And then you'll realize that, like, oh, it's not a question of whether it's hard or not, but you have to figure out on your feet and stuff. You know, you don't know how the mechanics work because nobody knows how they work. I could have done like a first playthrough permadeath of Elden Ring when it came out, or yeah, see, like now people wouldn't believe that it's the first playthrough because, you know, I'd be doing so good and I'd do it with ease. I could almost do that with a Dark Souls game, but I would have to be such a degenerate cheeser. I would just use range and magic and stuff, all the things that people said are, oh, that's too overpowered. Even though it's like my first playthrough and I'm going in and I don't know that it's going to be overpowered. But I guess just in general, range classes are, says the hunter. But that's why I clip my wings, metaphorically speaking. You know, range always makes everything easier. Usually, because the attack patterns aren't tuned in such a way to really make that be an issue. Right, like, if you, or at least you don't have to go in and commit to try to get a hit. So, for example, the boss will do a melee swing and you shoot them with the bow, so you never had to expose yourself. Whereas if I'm a warrior, I go in, I hit them in between their strike. Oh, I just cocked myself again because of my fire rule. There's a fire over there. Do I risk it? I'm not going to ruin my whole Baron's experience, huh? Okay, I guess I don't have to fish necessarily yet. Or no, I can just fish and just eat the fish. That's all you have to do. Problem solved. But obviously, I have to make sure I don't loot anything else then. Is there anything in the middle here? I don't like when you leave stuff around. You know, I want to fight my way through in the natural, organic way. Yeah, it does create a whole different layer of trolling and inventiveness. Or like now they'll get special treatment where, oh, let's ban everybody who tries to grief us. Like, you just live, I guess, in a different world at that point. Everything revolves around you, and you can't take the good with the bad. Like, yeah, I don't actually know that if that's meant to mean, like, okay, that's all we have to do. Like, Horde and Alliance. I guess it must, but why would you have that then as a Horde player? Shouldn't it just be red? What else could it mean, really? You almost shouldn't be allowed to switch weapons in combat, but at least for the sake of the fishing pole, it's fine. Okay, these guys are actually pretty loud with their animation. Just wait till we get dual wielding, or wait till we get a two-handed weapon. So maybe there is something more, but I'm pretty sure this is how you do it. Oh, that's a mistake. I might have to use a potion, and by might, I definitely will have to. Let's just burn through our precious resources that we have. Or I guess I could have run away, but I don't feel like it. We're going to end up just like his buddy, and then the next person who comes along will have to do our quest too. In fact, we might still not be able to do it. Even with that. Look at how much risk I'm putting myself at when I could even have a pet and all this kind of other shit. You wouldn't think he would do that ability again, but it does do quite a bit. Okay, let me read the quest again. To carry your weight, and that one we can probably do together. The only thing we have to do here is this. Search for a sign of Kron's fate. If you can't find him, at least bring me a sign of his fate, even if you have to open up his stomach at every Crocolisk. That's like a not very subtle way of them telling you what you'll have to do. I almost thought it'd be like the Murloc quest in Elwyn Forest where you have to find like the bones. But the river is so big that you'd be here for a while looking for that shit. The way of water has served us well. Our swimming is maxed out, like in a GTA sense. Right, you have a base swimming skill. This might not actually be doable. What you should almost do then is like run as far away as possible, and then you can make your escape if need be. Carry. He's gonna do like half my health at some point, so I'm not actually sure if I can do this. Look how he moves like he's sliding. Yeah, I don't know if I can kill one of these actually without the no racial, no potion on. Imagine if it ends like this in the water. Like, dude. So you basically, there are no aggro ranges. That's an interesting part of this game. There's no such thing as an aggro range. They just chase you literally to the fucking end of the map. Like, what is that trash? So don't go into combat unless you're at full health. That's kind of the rule that you should always abide by. I don't have any food. I have plenty of food, but I'm too stingy to use it. Let's just pretend that didn't happen. And permadeath expert, permadeath veteran, by the way. So let's try that again. You get revenge on that guy. I don't know how many of these it really expects you to kill to be able to do this. It's a little bit silly. It's obviously just RNG and dumb luck. Yeah, this is the whole rule of two. Fight things two below you, or certainly don't fight things two above you. But at this point, we're in a really weird spot where it expects us to have the pet and it expects us to be using ranged both. And I'm doing neither. At least you gotta have one or the other. In fact, I wonder what would happen there. Since I don't have a pet, it probably has nothing to summon. Because he obviously abandoned me. Is this even the same one? Almost looks like it could be a respawn. But at least we have the potion up, which I probably will have to use as much as I hate to admit it. Like, we even have an upgraded weapon and stuff too. Like, why is this so hard? And there's no rule against running away, obviously, but I almost, had to do it there. I do feel bad for wasting these potions, but I guess what you have to realize is at some point they're not going to be that valuable. Like, your health value is going to get so high that you need better ones in the first case. So the time when I became an alchemist just to... on my warrior just to have potions on hand all the time. Yeah, don't go in. You can fight one thing per 2 minutes if that's really what it takes to do this. Patience is no issue for somebody like me, of course. This shouldn't even be on your fucking bar. Like, it's one thing to... or no, that you're allowed to do, but not during combat. You're not allowed to abandon them, though. You should never be in that mode where it shows the X, because then you won't know whether you're being attacked or not by something else. I don't even like the floating combat text, and it's kind of immersion breaking. I would almost rather play the game like this, but it's kind of like, yeah, press Alt Z unless you have NVIDIA GeForce, whatever the fuck, to kind of cuck you. He comes in, he crits me a couple times. I do have the potion, so I guess I'm not too worried about it. We'll have to use an average of 1 potion per encounter of something around my level, or even 2 below me. Yeah, I like how stretched out some of these levels are going to get. Okay, we showed no mercy to that guy. Slimy bone. Unless you want to say that's his slimy bone. Right, like, oh, I fucked myself again. Now we will... oh my god. Right, what can I get rid of? Nothing. This bag thing is really going to piss me off. Are you serious? We'll make another trip back. This is kind of a troll experience. Maybe we should go do Fizzle Darkstorm first. It doesn't really matter. I'm being OCD about it, but it'll be worth it in the long run. I guess the biggest mistake is just like not going to Orgrimmar in the first place, which you probably really should do. Why did it take me so long to get back there last time? Or I guess Fizzle will sort of just be a quest that you can do, period. No, you still... I was going to say, like, you don't need to pick his thing up. Just say that you killed him. So you'd have to kind of cross through Thunder Ridge, and there's always the anxiety of like fucking falling down, even though I was dicking around and jumping over. You see how quickly you can go from 0 to 60, so that's why people sometimes diminish permadeath stuff and say, oh, it's so easy. But it just more so forces you to stay locked in. Like, that was a scary moment there, obviously. And there wasn't much else I could really do. I think my potion was still on cooldown, or maybe I was still being too stingy. Like, the fight went on for so long that it's possible it was about to come up. You never want to walk between 2 enemies like that either if they're at your level, because they could both aggro. You're trying to avoid, Scylla and Charybdis' problem. You try to run right between them, swim between them, and they both aggro instead of just one. At least go in with some intention and accept the fact that you have to face something. Well, this one didn't start off too good. We almost die. We almost fucking... we have our thing muted for maybe a while. I don't know why or how, actually, that was the case. Okay, so make sure don't loot anything besides Kron's amulet. That's the rule. Or the claw or the raggedy shit. It is what it is. I'm not even worried about it. This is what you have to do sometimes to make this come together. Because clearly the food buff from this is going to be very important. Or... you know, somehow any of these other things are going to be important. And in fact, even if I didn't do that, I would have still had to find a fire to be able to burn it at, just by my whole thing. So I'll keep flint and tinder for that reason, not for actually cooking. I would always have that stuff in my inventory, but I would never use it. Right? Like I would be OCD and say like, oh, I have to have the fishing baubles, I have to have the flint and tinder, but I'm not going to just randomly do it on the outside. I'm pretty sure you can use anything like this. But yeah, it'll kind of give a good weight to the professions because they'll actually be somewhat relevant. In fact, I'm almost going to miss being an alchemist on this guy because of how badly I'm going to need potions, probably. Or probably not. But see, I was saying that I want a tank instead of my pet. So I don't want to rely on my pet that way. I'll be the tank and I'll parry it because I'm a melee hunter, and then they'll be attacking from a range or doing something else. And they won't even be as good as you might expect because I'm not going to be Beastmaster either. Let's go sell some stuff. Sell these two, and then I'll go and finally do that. I don't know how many alligators you have to kill to get this goddamn thing. Either it's a super low drop rate or I'm just getting unlucky. I'll even save that Fizzle Darkstorm as like the final boss of Duratar because I'm not going to stay here forever. Even being level 12 does make me feel a little bit bad, but it's actually okay because in the long run you're going to even out with how long it takes to level later. And this is probably the optimal way to do it anyway. Look at this clown using a pet. Who does that? Or probably using a bow. Okay, last trip, we're not picking up anything. Don't loot, period. Although you have to check the loot. One of these times I'm going to see like a blue drop and just dismiss it because that's only an issue really at the beginning because of the whole bag space situation. Like, for example, later on, you'll be able to just loot everything and go back and do what you got to do. Kind of an embarrassing, stupid moment, but it is what it is. It's all good. So we're still doing beast tracking. Well, this is going to turn into the same Snapjaw thing. We'll be here for 5 levels fighting the alligators until they become grayed out. I mean, to be fair, these things are like my level. So it's not even like, oh, I'm fighting, you know, stuff way below me. They're 11 and 12 and they almost just killed me. So what do you expect? That's how you should treat it. Like anything your level is as strong as you are almost, even though we got a sexy green, which the main difference is the damage aspect. Not so much the stat, although it doesn't hurt. All right, so that's going to be the Barons over there. They're really pushing me there, even indirectly. Like, the one quest says explicitly, just go there. The other quest says, you know, go rub across it. But it's kind of a good way to get a teaser. Like, you're too scared to go in there. Not that I really am, but you at least get to see it. They do a good job showcasing stuff like that. Like you're on a flight path and you see this sexy dragon fighting above Elwyn Forest on some ridge, you know. You can never actually go there. That's one of those cataclysm things. Like now that you have flying mounts, you actually can go there. So it's a good sort of build up. So many like undiscovered parts of the world. Hyjal and Oldham, all these like the Grey Main Wall. They basically, Cataclysm was like all the unfinished content, the director's cut of the original game. All these ideas they had that they never followed through on, or maybe they were just doing it as build-up. You know, even the Blood Elf areas, those were very, very conspicuous on the map. In fact, they're huge in proportion to the rest of the areas. Let's get him on land, out of his element, even though our element may as well be the water because we're obsessed with fish and stuff like that because of where we live, Senjin Village. Even though we apparently didn't live there because you always wonder like what the history of these characters are. Like you're in Valley of Trials, but where did you live before that? It acts like you've never been to Orgrimmar or Duratar or anything. Now, I still have a decent health value, but if he does that kind of crazy ability again, it could cost me. Right? Like you're pushing it so close for no reason. Like, is this going to count as his bloody leather boot? I guess I can afford to see that. Like, you have to create like a whole codex combined of items. Well, this is his boot, and this is his bone, and this is his rib cage, and like you have to have like 50 different items to put together the case of what he was up to. You could track it down that way too. Like, let's go up and down all the way, or at least until we get the thing. Gives you a good incentive to explore this stuff. I do feel pretty safe here, but that's ironic considering what just almost happened. Isn't this such an immersive, relaxing way to play? Of course, with your life on the goddamn line. At least if you had the potion cooldown up, there would be no way that you could die there, but that is the Witcher problem, that I always like to use it as a razor. Even when I fail a run, I kind of learn something from it that I'll commit from that point on. So like, don't go into combat unless you're at full health, number one. And then number two is, don't have a bunch of stuff in your inventory and not use it, whether it be potions or otherwise. So this guy's only level 9. And of course, for these hard mods, or the whole permadeath WoW stuff, I always say, like, only fight stuff 2 levels below you or more. Don't try to fight stuff at your level or 2 above you, but just in case you aggro another one, you can take them both or something. That was one of the first videos I actually posted on this channel, like tips for leveling in BC. I mean, I can't believe this. I don't know if those actually stack, but I can't find out, because if I do, then if they don't, then I can't destroy them. That'll be kind of a good, cool rule. Actually, I don't mind that. And it normally wouldn't be an issue. I'm just trying to cuck myself on the back thing more. Now, this one we're probably going to fail to, because I don't have the, I keep saying hero power up. I don't have the potion up, or no, I might have to use the potion because I don't have the racial. You have to wait like 2 minutes between each fight. That guy wasn't too bad, but it's not even the strength reduction that I hate. It's just how much that seems to do. Like, you gotta be kidding me, dude. Or it might be a certain named one. It's not like I know these quests super well, because I am not a Horde player. Although I've probably still done them at some point or another. Either it'll be some physical spot that you actually have to find, or it'll be just a super rare drop. This actually seems insane. Like, how long could it take to do this? The level 11s kind of scare me. Even this guy, I sort of went in not at full health. So even though I just said that, never make the same mistake twice. Complacency kills. Yeah, that's fine. What was that one that got me so low? I think it was a level 11. And that is always what scares me too. Like, they'll have some special ability that you don't even know about. Like, they'll do some earth shock at the end or whatever when you're at like 25% health, and it'll just finish you off. So that's why I'm very anal about not letting yourself get that low. But there'll be that one time, Defies Pillager Horde Edition, where it does like 70 damage at level 15. Even though like level 40s and 50s and 60s only do like, you know, 170 sometimes. And it's not even like a resistance thing. That's just how the damage scaling works. Like, for whatever reason, they decided to make that enemy type so strong. I guess I could fish for some food while I wait. We already fished in this body of water. Do like that completionist challenge. Every body of water gets at least one try, which I can't seem to do the one outside Razor Hill, or like except 1 out of 100 times. Come on. I don't even really need it right now, but in fact, if he drops the thing, then it'll go to waste. Because a troll RP, you don't want to kill any beast, although that's almost exclusively what we killed here. Or we don't want to waste any fish, because we live by the water and love it so much. Okay, this will be fine. I have the potion in case I need it. I love all the mitigation we have. I guess my dodge is even higher than I thought it was. 17% is kind of insane. And it can only really go up because we're going to get more agility as we go on. Like, I have +0 agility, or +0 everything. Man, they're really not giving me anything. That obviously doesn't count as like the proof of his fate, although it could be his bone that we're talking about. All she says is just kill a bunch of Crocolisks. Or maybe you have to take it literally, like, or even if you have to kill every single Crocolisk in the lake, in the river, that you literally actually do have to. This is kind of a good representation of the old long-form postulate idea. Like, oh, here we go, man. That ability does too much. You know, you can't take any one moment for granted. It's a long-term, big-scale sort of experience. This is kind of weird. Either it will just be a named enemy, because clearly he'd be too strong to die to any of these, so it's going to be something crazy. An elite one or something. Not like I have to do every single quest, but in a weird way, I almost will do every single quest. But that comes later. Doesn't mean you have to do it at that exact level. Or like even soloing a 5-man dungeon. That's totally not going to get me in trouble. I'd be the type to do that shit though, even within a permadeath. Like, fuck it, dude. Combine everything. I don't want to discover Orgrimmar from this angle either, but... What is this thing? Be like a cooking trainer there maybe? That wouldn't make sense. In fact, they even explicitly said there is no cooking trainer until Orgrimmar, the Razor Hill Guard. Yeah, see, and even the game will give you as much advice as it wants you to have. There's always some deliberate thing that goes into that. They feel like you can figure everything out yourself, and then everyone wants to look everything up. I guess we'll just leave this, kind of like the Razor Hill food thing. Bring the food back because you just don't need it. Or I guess you can waste the fish and then take that instead. I don't need it, though. There's one in there and there's one here. Both level 11. And it's not like these are named anything different, so the rate should be basically the same of being able to do this. Why is he moving so slow at the beginning there? Oh, here we go. We forgot the racial. Let's get as far as we can. And that might allow me to get away, because we're going to have to. Just don't aggro anything else, I guess. Which one of these is going to respawn and potentially get me killed? Like, you should theoretically be able to do it, and he might not do that ability again, but like, why are you putting yourself at so much risk? Or now something else will aggro unexpectedly, he might do that ability again. But basically, we'll be here forever killing crocodiles, which I don't even mind. We can just get to fucking level... Yeah, see, I do it like the Elven Forest Boar thing. Where you get from 1 to 60 like that, even though that's not how the game works. Somehow their aggro ranges don't seem all that intimidating, though. Considering a lot of these are at my level. It's possible I just missed it. The boot doesn't count. The bone doesn't count. I think I just got that last time actually to test. I just think the bag thing is especially annoying, but I'm going to stay true to my whole... In fact, there's not like there's anything I can do about it. I could just get rid of a lot of stuff that I feel like could be useful later. Or I'll end up getting rid of all my potions just because I'm too much of a clown to be able to survive without them. So this is one of those great single player things that games should do, is that they should have a case where they put cooldowns on healing items. Like Skyrim should definitely do that. Because otherwise you can just spam them, like eat 100 potatoes during combat or something crazy. And you can just pause it even while doing it, go in your item menu. Yeah, muscle tear is hardly what concerns me. I don't get it. I really don't understand this class, but we owe it to her to figure it out because of whatever she did for us. Let's try to go down all the way pretty much to the end of the bank, and then I'll go walk my way back down the other way. We're looking for a sign. See how hard a simple quest like this can be to figure out, or it could just be that it's super... here we're going to get ourselves in trouble. At the very least, you have to wait for the racial, so we may as well kill this one in the meantime. But I like that. We got a green, and it's super meaningful, because who knows how long it'll be before we get another one. We got to keep an eye out for, like, a two-hander as well. Although, I mean, anything we get, I'll just keep, but, you know, don't vendor it just because we can't use it yet. That's all you're going to be able to really use is just, like, a two-handed axe anyway. This feels like a grind session, but it's really not meant to be. There's nothing... maybe she gave, like, a designated zone. Like, it's in the southern part of the river, not the northern part. Other than that, I have no idea. When hunting days ago, he went west towards the Barrens to hunt Crocolisk around the South Fury River. As strong as he was, his stubborn pride got in the way. He grew angry and stormed off. If you can't find him, at least bring me a sign of his fate, even if you have to open up the stomach of every Crocolisk. It's quite the hint, but... Yeah, look, you can even see the clear separation of biomes on the map. But it doesn't really look that different, I guess. They don't aggro two of these at once. They kind of do have the element of surprise on you just because of the simple fact that they're underwater. Oh, look at this. Level 15. This is totally what we want. Is it that same person who's like kind of stalking me all around everywhere I go? And look how deep that guy is in towards the water. You can't underestimate the aggro range there. They're kind of sticking together. I still don't think we've officially discovered the Barrens, though. And I kind of don't want to. I don't want to discover Orgrimmar either, although that's kind of where I wanted to end off anyway. Okay, I'm kind of scared of that distance there. Yeah, and I thought big streamers got heckled a lot in Grief. Look at me getting heckled by the hyena over here. Yeah, we'll take care of this dude, level 11 with the racial. And just make sure... It actually does better the lower you are, right? Greater effect up to 30% if you're badly hurt. I don't know what badly hurt really means, but I always end up getting badly hurt anyway. I'd rather just do it at the beginning and not get to the point where I need to get badly hurt. Remove the need. Absolutist tendency. I'd make a compilation of those, but there's so many and they're so spread out that it's almost impossible to keep track of them. If only I had a fan base to do it for me. I always found that so stupid where like a big streamer won't even bother to upload their own VODs and stuff. So everyone will just do it for them. Not even out of support, but out of like almost desperation. Like, oh shit, I won't be able to watch it otherwise, so I have to do it myself. Level 9. Kind of out of place a little bit. I guess you could just explore the rest of the bottom river. Although you could get in some trouble by doing that. You'll be like hugging up against Ratchet. So you can get yourself in a lot of trouble by being on the border here. Orgrimmar Border Patrol. Yeah, the Crossroads is such an iconic zone. Not only is the music so good, but also, you know, the fact that Tauren, Trolls, and Orcs all converged there led to the whole sort of toxic, overused Baron's Chat environment. Actually, a good in-universe explanation. Not just the fact that it's so big or anything, or the fact that Horde players are literally trolls. Okay. I mean, I don't know if it's bugged. I don't know if I'm missing something with the objective, but certainly I don't understand how to do this. I'll give it a couple more chances. I guess I won't go any farther than this dude. Let's just wait till the time that we get our racial ability back up. No big deal. It might be the third time that our mic was muted during something without me realizing it. The problem of being a small streamer, nobody will even tell you because nobody's even watching. No, but like Life is Strange, when Kate died, spoilers for my playthrough, which I still haven't uploaded, even though it was like over a year ago. And then, yeah, I was just so ashamed of what was about to happen. It's not like I knew, though. The elitist victim blamer. Maybe I would have gotten banned for some of the stuff I said in that one, so it's like good ex post facto justification. I'm talking shit like saying, Kate, oh, stop playing the victim, stop being such a bitch, stop whining, and then she ends up doing something obviously very, very devastating. That crit kind of saves me from my clown behavior of not having this up. I could try to have it up at the end. I am probably going to need it, so I wasted 2 potions against these guys. But it's okay, I shouldn't need them for a while still. Or maybe we're just able to do this straight up for some reason. He's going to do that rend ability at some point, or maybe I mitigated it somehow. Bloody leather boot. I mean, it's not acting like those are counting as the thing being done. Maybe I'll kill this one too. I genuinely don't know. Just don't discover Orgrimmar or the Barons from being in close proximity. I think after this I'll just give up. Or I'll go back to the bottom. Could just be that it has a super low drop rate, which is fine, but I'd rather you give me a quest that... Yeah, now it took that sort of tongue-in-cheek quote I said literally, like, oh, I'd rather have a quest tell me to kill 50 of these rather than do this, because it can end up taking longer this way. It's kind of an illusion, like, oh, I only need 1 item. That's so easy. Okay, come on, come on. So the bone doesn't count, the boot doesn't count. Like, imagine he dies like right next to Orgrimmar. Like, that's really something. Oh, it still won't count. Maybe he's discovering it though. How is that even the Barons? Like, well, I go like an inch too far left in the water. It's not Durotar or the Barons, it's South Fury River, so why does it matter? Yeah, this was actually the iconic spot where I did a 40 versus 40, like 2 guilds. I wasn't the guild leader, but I kind of ran stuff like that. We had like 40 Alliance players standing in the Barons and 40 Horde players doing it there, and we did it kind of like as an RP thing. That was in like original classic, and there was a certain respect that people had, like they weren't trying to BM or something. We did it kind of honorably. We did like a whole scenario before. I wish nobody really cared about doing videos back then, except for like Swifty or something. Yeah, what did you even use that? It would have been like Fraps or Bandicam or whatever the fuck. Oh my god. Now, does that mean that's going to be the one? I don't mind even using a potion with this too. Just don't respawn anything else. So why would it have to be a corrupted one that really got him killed? Like what? Just to show that he's too strong to die to anything else? Isn't this like the first and only one like this we've seen? And of course, these type of enemies might have special abilities, like whether it be a rare spawn or something. Yeah, I say that, and that's exactly what he does, but it actually wasted so much time. It made him easier to kill than some of the level 11s. Or one of these times we're gonna drown. But even he didn't have anything on him. That's weird. Where did he come from, and why is there only one like that? Gave me false hope that he might actually be the quest objective. Let's fight our way back to the Baron's Bridge, and then we'll go down to the other side of the river and just spend all day here, I guess. Fun stream. I mean, some of these episodes are going to become long like that. Or like even here would be a clue of his fate. He became like a successful fisherman. I guess I didn't think of it like that. This could be his place. A very cool looking fish that you probably can't get yourself. Or maybe this is kind of the idea of putting the models out in the world. Like if you dropped a fish on the ground, that's what it would actually look like outside of your clutches. Even playing it in first person could be fun for one of these playthroughs, but it doesn't really have that much gameplay impact. Like, not like Dark Souls where you can use like the binoculars and actually make a whole thing out of it. We'll do this while we wait for the cooldown on that. It's only 2 minutes, so it's not that big of a deal, but good thing Crocolisk don't stick together like where they'll team up on you. I don't think we've even killed any of these boars here because you don't really have to. Yeah, so we'll do the boar challenge next. Try to get from 1 to 60 only killing boars, which you got to be a permadeath one too. But the problem is so many of them you have to kill inside of the dungeon. Like, okay, this one I'm pretty sure I couldn't have gotten. In fact, I never even went to the river. This has got to be a new one. Although, like I said, I'm pretty satisfied with the Duratar stuff. But what if we did? Then we invalidate the whole run. You gotta have like a little bit of presence and awareness of stuff more than just, you know, mindlessly doing whatever you see, but not a big deal. Like, for example, we even have to find it ourselves. We can't use the tracking. See, every one is such a gold mine, I guess you could say, of resources because you can do it so many goddamn times. So that's like one of the advantages of this whole experience is just, I mean, that kind of does hurt you. How much does that hurt my dodge chance? Like a whole percent it goes down. We'll be at least level 13 before we're done with all this. We could literally get to like level 15 if we do like the Burning Blade quests and stuff. If they start to be like at least reasonably within our level, like 12 to 13 even. Why did that one have such a hard time killing me? Some of these actually tear through you. It's not like they were always the corrupted ones. So of course we save the racial for the next one. Even with this debuff though, you should almost wait. A lot of why you fail in hardcore things is just because you're too impatient, right? You don't want to wait for the cooldown. You don't want to wait for eating or drinking or whatever. There's a guy who played a mage originally who, like, you know, you have to eat after every combat, which I didn't even mind. That's why they even give it to you as a class ability to be able to conjure water and stuff. You can offset the price of it. Either this is really just that annoying of a quest or I'm doing something wrong. But I guess I'm still leveling my skills. Like, how is it taking that long for me to get my axe skill up if I've been using it the whole time? I haven't leveled up in a while. I guess it is maxed out anyway, but... Or somehow he'll get it to attack me. One of the griefing strategies. Maybe she's doing the exact same quest in the exact same order as me. That's one of the things that makes you grateful to be a small streamer. But of course, you don't have to do everything on stream, or not everything you do has to be, you know, one extreme or the other. Like speed running everything or doing a hardcore. Like, there's a lot of in-between stuff you can do, just like whatever, explore and just do stuff that you haven't done before. But I hate that. Everyone acts like they've done everything, but then when it comes down to it, they've done a very small amount. You might say, oh, well, it's not fun to do all those little things, or they don't want to, but that's besides the point. At least don't act like you've done it. It's even saying the Barons, but it's not counting as me having explored it, at least. He's actually fighting us from behind. A rare and interesting bug here. Literally. And yeah, see, we could use our venom sacs that we've saved up to do that. In fact, we don't even have room for it now, so maybe I shouldn't even bother doing this. Like, what could I even get rid of? That's not like why we would have missed it either. This is a weird quest. Yeah, that would be kind of stupid. Like, what if I get it? Then I'll eat like all 10 of the fucking. Is there like maybe a shopkeeper closer that I could use? I guess not. Even if it did drop now, I won't have goddamn room for it. Or maybe that's what stops it from potentially dropping. Yeah, I have as much copper pretty much as I can hold. I don't even care. This is such a weird episode, but we'll go from the south of the thing now. I kind of want to do the Fizzle Darkstorm thing last, too. You could say I'm padding this run. It's meant to be a slow-paced one, but not this slow-paced. Holy shit. I have like 3 quests left to do as far as I know, unless they give me like a chain, or again, a lot of them are going to come out of Duratar, so we spend like fucking 10 episodes just in the starting zone. Gonna aggro like 3 things together, I bet. I generally don't like to run away. I like to fight my way through stuff, but not even just because I'm padding experience or something, but just because, you know, you don't want to leave yourself open to aggroing too many things together, or even just as a sense of honor. And we get rewarded with something that I really can't pick up. Yeah, I'm going to eat these 10, and I might regret it, but it is what it is. Because even if I just vendor that, you know, it would still be worth it. In fact, I forget. What weapons can you even use as a hunter? I don't even know. Can't you learn to use swords? I'm pretty positive you can. You can use swords and axes, I think. You can't use maces, obviously. Pole arms, like nobody really gives a shit about that anyway, but it almost suits hunters to use pole arms of anybody. So we could like dual wield these two, because that might be the best we get by then. I mean, I literally just stuffed my face with fucking 10 apples, all Skyrim style. At least not in the middle of combat, though. Some of those restrictions are pretty good, though. Right, like, don't let people cheese it in single-player games the same way you wouldn't let them cheese it in multiplayer games. Otherwise, it'll still be make a farce of it, even if it doesn't feel like it matters quite as much. Like, 1 stack of rough stone is fine. We can sell these, and we could sell that if I want. I don't know whether 20 to... Oh, the fact that it's 2 hand makes it maybe a little bit relevant. We got a couple greens today, actually. I'm positive you can use swords. I think I even remember using one. No? How could it be only axes? I don't know. I'm almost positive I did that. Even in the brief amount of time that I played as one. Pretty much the only people I associate with maces are paladins anyway. I mean, obviously warriors would... I mean, rogues can use them too. That shows you how much I've forgotten, although it's not like I was a hunter expert or I played a hunter much. So we're going to be satisfied with the ore situation. So I don't even have room for more, so it makes it simple to assume that Duratar is done with. This is a bit of a strange quest, though. It doesn't give you any more details than that. Towards the Barrens. West towards the Barrens. Like, there's nothing, no more detail than that.
Blood and thunder.
How much would that sell for? 3 silver. It's not really even worth it. But of course, if it's something you can never use, like, what are you saving it for? Or I'll really stack out my bank, but then you won't have enough money to buy the extra bag slots. I'm assuming I'm going to get all the bags I need eventually because, you know, they've cucked me long enough already. So we'll go one more time, and if I can't do it, I'll move on to the Fizzle Darkstorm quest. Because we have 2 open slots. We better check everything, though, for loot still, because we are getting a couple good things here. I mean, that is 20 to 30, 7.1. It's not much better than mine, but, you know, 5.8, it's just... If you can use a two-hander, why not? That's almost more my style, in fact, of what I think a hunter is going to do, but... We will have some interesting options later on, like a 40 mail thing, or like what do you call it? Dual wielding at 20. I don't know. That should almost double your parry chance, old Death Knight style. Like you're gonna be a tank without a shield, but I don't actually know how a lot of these things work. Like I guess I don't commit stuff to memory. I just kind of when I'm doing it, I'm into it, but. Yeah, we check out the bottom water here. Try still not to discover the Barrens for whatever OCD reason that I have. It's a little bit annoying, and maybe I shouldn't be this anal about trying to do quests, especially when it gets me in trouble and potentially almost gets me killed, but that had really nothing to do with it. You're just fighting level appropriate stuff finally. I'm kind of abusing the auto walk thing too in a way that I didn't want to do, but you get to do some sightseeing while doing it. I mean, not like you can't still move normally and do that too. You can't even tell. Am I moving with the mouse, but somehow at this weird camera angle? Am I moving with the... Maybe I missed this one too, the Quillbore camp. Yeah, did I even go to this part of the map? I think I did, just out of that same curiosity. Like, what's even in this western part of Durotar? I don't think it ever sends you here for anything. Except for maybe if there's a quest to kill that elite guy who almost scared the shit out of me. The horde equivalent of Hogger, level 11 random Quillbore. I just kind of mouse over it. It's like elite. I guess that's why you leave your pet as like a fall option. Not that I even have a pet right now, but... You'd rather let that die, even though technically I can't bring them back either. That should almost count as a failure state. Like, if you lose the pet, you just have to quit the game. Delete your character. Yeah, we'll find our way maybe from the bottom here. From the bottom back up. Good old memories of the Snapjaw times. None of them are like special. Or maybe it has to be a corrupted one, of which there are very few. That'd be kind of a bullshit aspect, because you'd have to worry about it in such a sense that you'd be competing for resources. That must be what it is. It's just that even in killing one, I still didn't get one. You have to resist the urge to just auto loot this shit. And where is he? Where is he? I just saw him. Dreadmaw? No, corrupted. I don't even see him. Oh, he's like going up and down the thing a little bit too much. Oh no. Still don't want to discover that shit. We're not worthy to set foot on there yet. At least we're not really competing with other players, though, for what it's actually worth. You could do the racial here, but the good thing about beasts is they feel no fear, unlike our pathetic mortals. That's why we respect animals so much as a hunter. Like, they won't run away. They'll fight you to the death, just like I will. Even as much of a clown move as that might have been there. And I was actually getting space and running away, but... He kind of slowed down at the end, too. Claw 10. I mean, it presumably looks better, but I don't see the point. Oh, no. Don't fucking same mistake over and over. Don't go in unless you're at full health. I'm just getting impatient because this quest is taking so long to do. It's not like I have to do every single quest. I'm just being super completionist about it. I actually never have stayed in a starting zone probably for this long. Even in my other permadeath runs. In fact, there I was kind of being a zoomer and just breezing through it too much. Even with a lot of the same restrictions. I just can't believe how easy it is even without a pet. You would think you would almost need a pet at this point, but somehow I'm getting away with it. Oh, look, it's just farming greens for me. And we get both in one shot. Nice. So it doesn't even have to be a corrupted one. The drop rate is just super low. Holy shit. Like, there's so many quests like that for Alliance too, but I guess now we know. So these technically you can use later, so I'll be fine with that. We're gonna dual wield the level 5 thing. Oh shit. I like how they use that as cover. Yeah, that was a heck of a quest though. Holy shit. Maybe the ones at this part of the river have a higher chance to drop them or something? Or like, imagine if it is actually randomly chosen. Like, of all the crocodiles, every character spawns it in one particular place. It's not always in like a fixed spot, which I'm sure that actually might be true anyway. I mean, it is, because it's a random drop rate type of thing, but... Okay, so that was pretty sexy. The problem is, if we don't sell these, I'm going to have even less space than before. You have to go get Fizzle Darkstorm's Claw. The problem is I want another space for my bag because of the simple fact that you're not going to be able to... 8 to 15... I feel really bad if I sell a green. Like, I'd rather sell anything else. But then again, I don't have anything that I feel too comfortable. You know, I could always sell the mining pick. Like, fuck mining. We can always get another one of those. You definitely don't want to sell this, which I was doing maybe before. What a quest, dude. Give me 3 fucking greens, and the reward itself is going to be trash. Whatever she gives me should just replace this, unless she gives me 2 things. Then she'll cuck me again and make me go back to town. Is that actually where her house was? I guess it must be. We can fish in the pools there, and then I want to fish in one of... I can't figure out this one for the life of me. This one is a mystery, and then this one I couldn't do. So we'll kind of end off maybe near Razor Hill in that respect. Once we turn in the Fizzle quest, unless that's going to tell me to turn it in an Orgrimmar for some reason. For some reason, I thought this was her house one time last time. Let's see what sexy rewards and flavor text she has for me at the end of this one. Yeah, I like how he just randomly played WoW and it happened to coincide with a lot of... Oh, shit, look how this guy's hiding in plain sight. Not that these are very high level either. Like, somebody's farm got taken over by rabid wild animals. Karma for exploiting animals for that long, am I right? Okay, we're getting a little bit too cocky, but they're still not going to aggro, or I stand corrected even as I'm saying it. It's just, I don't have room to loot stuff, so if you drop another green... Yeah, what happened, dude? What a fortuitous thing. Even if all you're doing is just selling them, too. Like, it's something I can't use. Although they're all something I can use. Even if it wasn't, then you would be able to... Am I actually wrong about this basic fact of hunters? I'm pretty sure you can use swords. I even remember. Or at least maybe you can only use two-handed but not one-handed. I'm pretty sure you can. But then, yeah, Wind Fury Hunter. Wasn't that a meme, too? No, I don't think you can use that anyway, but... I pray that Kron will return to me, but I'm almost certain I already know his fate. Oh, my son, my beautiful son. Uncertain of my son's fate, I have tormented myself since he left. Now that I know what happened, perhaps I can finally begin to mourn. You've been mourning all the time, though. Before I even told you, she's crying. Thank you. Please take this. I was going to give it to Kron as a gift when he returned successful. Now I know that he's dead. I cannot bear to look at it. Hand-sewn cloak. Well, you better hope it's an upgrade, otherwise nobody will be looking at it ever. So, hey, I mean, it is what it is. And let me guess, this will be impossible to fish in too. And in fact, even if it's not, I can't do anything. Or you know what I could do if there's a fire. This fishing thing is kind of annoying me, actually. Or really what's annoying me is the bag aspect. Yeah, we'll sell the mining pick too. So if there are fishing holes left to do, it'd be like these two and maybe this one. That's it. And then this, obviously, but I haven't even really been there. Like, it's spoiling what's on the map. I like how detailed it is with showing you every single one. In fact, the only one that doesn't show up here is there's one like right where the Ascension Village icon is. It's kind of being hidden by that. And of course, oh, it does even, you know, let you see that. It spoils what the city looks like. Or obviously even where it is. Level 9. Okay, let's not try to make it feel like we're padding our experience too much. You can enter from up above like a ninja. We're going to need like some kind of slow fall thing too. We got some potion that makes us, you know, RP as a mage. That was one of my favorite abilities. Mage just had so many cool things. Like, forget about even using slow fall. Whoops, I'm out of light feathers. Like, okay, I'm not going to do that one. Whoops, I'm out of light feathers. I'm going to fucking fall to my death. And then you can blink right before you hit the ground. The same way that you could charge into an enemy. I guess not exactly the same, but like you're about to fall and you're like 1 inch above. And then you blink and it'll count as saving you from that. Not that you would often really need to do that because you could obviously just use a light feather anyway. Or see, even requiring reagents like that was a pretty cool dynamic. Just, you know, requiring this portal stones and whatnot. Runes of teleportation, runes of portal. And then you can make a whole living just doing that. Sit around in Stormwind and sell potions and food and stuff. It's kind of a degenerate thing to do that I wouldn't make a big point of doing, but... Sell the simple cape. And what else was I going to sell? I forgot now. Oh, the mining pick. At least he buys it back at a decent rate there, so... Sometimes they just won't want that item, I guess. We have 2 open spaces, so I have to figure out what's really going to happen here. The only other thing I should be able to do is Fizzle Darkstorm, and then we're done. Good thing I have the add-on to keep track of it, I guess, because otherwise you could say, like, I think it crashed around Razor Hill, and I didn't notice until just then, so... Razor Wind Canyon. I don't know whether I should fight through that or not. Like, how do we actually find the Thunder Lizard spot? I don't feel like you can do it as directly as, like, this. I just love when it randomly crashes in the middle. Actually, today is kind of a cursed day because of the stupid, like my mic was muted at the beginning and I didn't notice. Okay, so this is also going to be the harpies. Why did they get like two separate little sections here? Yeah, it's weird that they wouldn't give me a quest to do that yet. For some reason, I feel like you almost get an Orgrimmar. Or you might have to go, like there's a goblin at the fork in the road and you might have to go somewhere from there. Other than the Burning Blade quest, like by Durotar to the right, like where the Zeppelin is, I don't think there's any other real meaningful quest here to do. And that is one that you have to like turn in personally to Thrall or something. You might not even get that until you go into Orgrimmar. Yeah, I love that. That would actually be a discrediting factor. Like maybe you died between those two spots. Between running from Razor Hill to Thunder Ridge, where, even on a path where there's no enemies. Or what's going to happen is I'm going to refuse to abandon any quest, so then I'll have a full quest log, because even the elite ones I'll want to do in some weird way. Winds in the desert. Oh, he's going to tell me to kill the harpies probably. I'm Reslak, one of Gazlo's boys. Boss sent me to help here the orcs here in Durotar. Things have been going good except for the caravans. Can't manage to keep them safe. Makes my job a little harder, you know. The last shipment, they promised they'd get it through, was snatched by the Dustwind Harpies of where was it? Razorwind Canyon. I gotta have those supplies or I'll never get anything done. Follow the big canyon to the south, and you'll find the ravine cut right into the west and east sides of the walls. Free 5 stacks of supplies and return to Reslak near Orgrimmar. That's cool and all, but how do you actually get to the proper place where this guy would be hiding out? There's going to be some other weird way you can go down. Or maybe you can go through from... Like, there's no way they make you jump down, although that's almost my initial instinct. We could deal with the harpies first. And so I have to make sure I don't loot anything else because I don't have room. You enter maybe from the... all the way at the other side. I mean, it probably wouldn't even kill me if I did jump down, but then you'll end up getting attacked by something. Yeah, why the fuck is he hanging out down here of all places anyway? The Goblin was at least sort of an earned race that they added. The one that wasn't earned at all was pandas, or even Draenei are sort of retcon. That maybe seems like nitpicking, but it's really not, because the Eredar were always portrayed as just evil and all kind of the same in the lore. Like, there is no, oh, let's read the flavor text for Ratchet. Part of the Steamweedle Cartel, this Goblin City provides a neutral haven for those that wish to trade goods and services in the Barrens. Yeah, so each of them are sort of individual, which is a little bit weird. Oh shit, I wasn't even expecting that would be hostile. Letting my guard down. Getting a bit bored of these enemies. Like Booty Bay and stuff. They could almost have been all the same thing. Right, like the Steamweedle Cartel could be one rep. Or like there was this whole thing you could do where you kill the pirates to gain rep, or you kill guards in Booty Bay to get rep with the pirates to be able to get like a certain achievement to get exalted with them, and then it would take forever to get it back. Man, how the heck do you enter this place? You could almost fall down like there, but there's got to be a really low slant that it lets you in from. Huh. This is kind of a cool moment of discovery. I've even been through this so many times, like around this house, but... And even if I did get down there, like I have to fight through a fucking 100 lizards before I find this one dude. Oh, here it is. It's just on ground level. Simple as that. Where's her house compared to this? Basically where the abandoned hut is. Of which there's, I think, another one around here too. So we're doing this not to kill the lizards, because I haven't gotten a quest to do that yet. Unless maybe the goblin would give me one to go here anyway, but this must be where it is. This is one section, and then obviously that's the Dustwind thing. Somehow I thought they were together. And there's the last of the Quillbore that you'll see here. That's the last of the Burning Blade. And then Razormane Grounds we kind of already been to. This will be like one of our first magic users that we suffer from. Which means you might not be able to kite him but too far. Resist, nice. We are in full tank mode, but that's not one thing I thought we'd be dealing with. Block it like with your axe, like a lightsaber or something. How they deflect the Sith lightning. Wait, how is this not up? When did I just... Oh, I maybe just use it on the boar who surprised me so much. This shouldn't be too bad unless we have like an actual Defiance Pillager moment. You gotta be careful not to loot too much. Because I don't have a whole bunch of shit. Bunch of space. And I love the dodge rate. Wash rabbit carcass. Or I'd be such a completionist that I want like one of every gray item in the world too, just for the fuck of it, in my bank. If you had infinite space, I wouldn't actually mind doing that. But I don't see where you would start to see the burning blade among these. Somehow they're under their dominion. Or they just use them as sort of a natural barrier to hide behind. Let's go through like this. That's fucking briar thorn or something. Identify the herb. Earth root. Fuck. You know that from my warrior actually, with how much I actually cared about that. And yeah, for that it could be the same rule. You can only pick up like each plant once. Not like each type of plant obviously, but each node in the world sort of. That is really weird. Why does that happen every time? Didn't that happen last week too? You can clip through his body so well that you sort of can't even see yourself there. How did he get in here? If I was fighting my way, he's been here for a while, I guess that means. Look at what a clown. He's using a pet. Just saying that out of salty. Oh, here he is. Might be hard to actually get in there and do anything. This one I could certainly take, but again, I'm not going to have room, so what's the point? Or I should get it like up to exactly 10. Does that mean this guy's like a rare spawn or something? Or at least he's a named enemy, so no, there's multiple. Oh, I don't even have the pick, god damn it. Well, there's no need to really fight those, but I kind of want to just because they look different. As long as they don't aggro together. Doesn't really do all that much. Yeah, so let's do this fizzle one, and then we have to do the harpies. I don't think there's... Oh, these humans might effectively drop, assuming there's humans with them, they might drop a bunch of cloth for me. Not like linen cloth, but the whatever he wants, the canvas scraps. If not, I don't know where else we're going to find people who would do that. We might have to go back and fight the centaurs. Or we might have to go to Terragard Keep, which I didn't want to like recycle content that much. We're already stretching out and padding this so much, the whole Durotar experience. I like how we keep introducing like one new rule every episode. Like now we can't destroy stuff freely. You can only destroy like in an actual proper bonfire, like where you'd be able to cook. That's a good sort of RP aspect. So rogue could totally crit them because they're asleep. Where would the guy be though? Oh, he probably hasn't respawned yet. Burning blade. That's not him. Maybe this isn't actually finally where he is. Oh, these can be really dangerous because of the Voidwalker. You can almost kill him. Oh, wow, 35. You could kill him and then get away. Oh, this is a bad spot. This is really bad because you might not be able to escape either. Look, the Voidwalker is going to be like tankier than he is. I might have to use a potion, and by might, I definitely do. Oh, no, don't tell me it's going to end like this. You box yourself in such a way that... Oh, look at that. Look at that sexy dodge of the Thunder Lizard. How did I even do that? Or is he on me now? Why am I still in combat? Oh, wow, dude, I'm cheating death a lot. See, this is why you like to clear your path to get there first before you do it. People might have questioned, like, why are you running away? You're going to aggro the lizard, but somehow I didn't. 11? That is actually weird. Look how fucking dangerous this episode is. That scorpion's kind of scaring me from above his shadow. Holy shit. Yeah, so enemies that have pets like that can be a real pain in the ass. I don't know where this fizzle guy even is. Oh, I guess I should have changed my tracking in town to this. To humanoid. Okay, this much you can tank for a little bit. At least that was a good use of the potion. Don't have to pull him that far away, but just like as far as you can go. You're kind of in a very constrained area here. You don't even have a pet for pet to match the guy. Nice back-to-back mitigation. I don't like to be inside their face like that, but they almost don't even let you fight, you know, more aesthetically pleasing. These really aren't that bad, but that guy was hitting 35, so maybe I shouldn't even bother doing it. Or I should be a much higher level when I do. So I'll literally get to level fucking 15, 16 here. And I don't even care. That's certainly one thing that there's no rule for. Like, you just can't kill random enemies for random reasons? And it's not even like I'm doing them at random. I'm doing it still generally as part of a quest. This you shouldn't even have to pull too far away. The thing is, if you kill the Voidwalker, sometimes they'll just summon them right back, and sometimes they won't. So maybe that'll effectively count as him just losing it, period. Gotta approach it almost like it's a dungeon, though. This is where we gotta use the engineering gadgets. That was such a deadly, dangerous encounter. It's possible the dude Fizzle isn't even in there. That's what's so annoying about it. Jesus, look at this guy go. Broken spear. That's gonna be my fucking axe pretty soon now. Like, when you don't die, you're not gonna lose much durability. You gotta at least have an escape plan if you're gonna do this, but it takes so long to kill each individual thing. That guy really saved me by not aggroing. Because then, like, how far can you really go? Like, oh, sure, I'd run away from him, but you have nowhere to run away because you'll run into the next one and the next one. So whatever clutch dodge that was in the side was pretty amazing. 2 brushes with death in one stay. Don't have food, don't have anything. Dude, we're going to be in Durotar for a while. Fuck it. They'll have some fishing expedition stuff to do. Look at that guy jumping down like a clown. Yeah, level 14. That's what I should be before I try to dick around with this stuff. That one I can still loot. This one, yeah, I even said, oh, I'll kill one of these because they look different. But I guess that's where the respawns kind of get you. There weren't any here going in, so I wasn't worried. But somebody else killed them, and then they respawn. So you can say that helps you, but it throws me off. Because at least if I killed it, I would have known. Now they're going to have this Fizzle guy on farm. At least if we can get an idea of, like, where he is. I don't even see him. Why is he even doing that? Or he probably already killed him. The chest is still there. The Voidwalker is still there. So even if you kill him, right, the Voidwalker doesn't go away necessarily. Fuck, I should have really had humanoid tracking for this. Yeah, fighting that guy is like suicide. The Voidwalker guy, I shouldn't even bother with that. And he is hitting a decent amount too, 35 per hit. I should consider myself fortunate and just not dick around with that. He's even asleep. That's what you get for waking him from his slumber. I don't really know what to do with this then. At least if you had a pet, maybe, but even then I'd be a little bit worried about it. Okay, finish this guy off. He's putting up a pretty good fight. Nice little crit there. That's why I don't eat food, of course, because you leave yourself vulnerable to get crit by something, even though it doesn't really matter that much. Oh, is he here or not? That's kind of just my only thing. There's no rule necessarily against using that, but where the fuck is he? There's only so much room. Oh, he's right in the middle there. That dude with the Voidwalker really scares me. So we could try to aggro him. At least we have like a decent amount of distance to run away now, since we cleared it, but who knows what's gonna happen. So she don't have a Voidwalker at least. But I don't have range to even pull this shit with. Oh, this would be next to impossible to do. Right, like you can't even pull with like a throwing knife or something because... Let's see how many things aggro to me. He did actually aggro. He does 51. So even 1v1, I don't know that I'd be able to kill him. See, at least we can escape, or assuming that this would be far enough to escape. Or we might have aggroed actually a lot more than I bargained for. Okay, it's not that bad to get away, but these respawns are interesting. Or like I'll make it so that I'll level up. I'll use the level up trick. We'll be like 1 kill away, but I guess I can't really control that super well. Get to level 13 here, just doing this back and forth. This is very risky and unnecessary to do. This is what you have to have the discipline not to do. Either do it later or just don't do it at all, because what do I hope is going to happen here? Unless he like pats away somehow. Right, if we do that again and these things have respawned, I'm just dead. I don't know why I'm doing it like this. This dude's like kind of padding around. Where did he go? You gotta approach this almost like a dungeon. Oh, he's over there doing like a ritual. I don't think this one dude aggroed. So what if I aggro you? The Void Walker. That's maybe what the sleeping really does for you. At least he does move around a bit. This is good. The problem is she'll also run away. And probably something will respawn behind me too. So I'm kind of committing to this in a way that I don't need to. Spamming an instant fire spell, which is pretty actually satisfying to look at, but a very hot ability. Look how many fucking parries are going on, dude. So much mitigation. Epic auto attack combat. So now you should just be able to pull him. The only thing that's going to put a monkey wrench in that is the pat. So it maybe is not so bad. But then again, if he's hitting 51, what the fuck do I expect is going to happen? Like, what the fuck am I thinking? Why do I put myself in these situations when I don't need to? I really have a death wish today. Then again, people are saying, oh, I'm over leveled too at the same time. How the fuck am I over leveled? At least under the circumstance of what my character is. These are within 2 levels, but they're also rolling me over. At least the casters. Which these kind of want to role play like they are. Spammable ability, and they have no hesitation with doing it. That's why they're called the Burning Blade. Okay, so all I have to do is pull this dude and get my ass beat. I should probably clear a path to escape because you know he's going to be hitting way too much. It's going to be something that respawns here and I'm going to be dead. That's all it'll take. This is one of the worst spots actually because you don't have a way to... Well, first of all, other stuff might aggro too, but... Last time it... Oh, he has a pet too. Forget about this, dude. If I'm going to do it, I'll do it later. Like, there's too much shit going on. He's hitting 50 per Shadow Bolt. Like, what the... This is like a Defies Pillager moment. You do 5 of those, I'm dead. Even if I am fighting him 1v1. Yeah, and this would have killed me anyway. Good call. Okay, let's go back and kill the Harpies. Yeah, you can't really feel bad about doing stuff like that because... Not only do I not have a pet, not only am I using melee, not only am I just like using shitty gear and everything. You can't try to overachieve in this too much. Or I could totally use the leveling trick to do that. I'll be like 1 tick away and then I'll kill something to level up so that I fight the other thing. The old Grotus trick like from Thousand Year Door. You fight Grotus and Bowser back to back. So you make sure the Grotus levels you up so then you're at full health when you go to fight Bowser because you don't get to take a break in between. Okay, I shouldn't go in with that much health missing. At least we know where he is now. This place is pretty hard to find the entrance to. For some reason, I thought they were kind of connected, the Harpy area and this one, but they're not. But like, I would always just jump down into it somehow. Maybe even by accident. I came super close to dying with the alligator thing too, but that was just kind of my own carelessness, I guess. Or why did that happen? I was at full health when I went in, wasn't I? It's just that ability they do is kind of scary. See, it wouldn't be fun if I didn't make it interesting like that. You gotta make it challenging. Go out of your way, do every single quest. So fight my way out of here, and then we'll be like level 20 before you even get a pet or anything. We'll be able to dual wield. Maybe I just won't even get a pet at all. That's what this run should have been like. This is almost showing you what it would be like if you were to try to do it that way, which wouldn't be that big of a deal either. Just find stuff a little bit lower and whatnot. And so we'll do the Harpy quest. And I mean, if you're going to do this, you'll just have to be higher level. I don't know what else to say. Or like have your pet or have engineering gadgets or anything. He's not an elite, but he has an imp and there's a lot of shit around there. He even has a pet, like it's actually a literal single player dungeon. That was kind of one of the goals for today, but I'm not going to force it. I don't even remember the imp hitting me or doing anything, but I was so focused on just running away. But we are in a way kind of just grinding today, but not really. Like I was trying to do objectives. Even the crocodiles were sort of like, what do you call it? The crocodiles were a mishap. Like here you might turn the corner and aggro something right away, so be careful. Only have one potion too, so I better not dick around too much. Well, this Duratar experience is gonna take forever. And I want to check out Trisfall Glades and Mulgore and stuff too. I want this to be sort of a definitive experience for the Horde. Doesn't mean you'll be leveling there, obviously, because you're already way out of range. You can barely do all the quests in Duratar. It's not even like you're grinding, but you're just killing stuff along the way. So what do you expect is going to happen? Of course, you're going to get extra experience that way. Like, really, this is without rest. This is without anything else. How is it that you're not... I don't know. This is like way too much. But it doesn't even feel that bad because you're so like within level range too. You're fighting like 12s and stuff. I'll fight Fizzle and I'm like literally level 20. It's not like I have to do it to get into Orgrimmar, but I should almost leave that as a rite of passage. Like I should have to do it. I'll literally go to Undercity before anything else. The problem is they won't have a... No, I was thinking I would tame a bat actually. Just because we already missed out on the raptor, so if you want to count that as a death, we'll just move on. Somehow trolls and bats just kind of go along for me. Maybe there's something... You know, they got one guy in ZG. Although they kind of have references to so many different kind of animals. Heroine or something like that. This is good. Just finish this guy off, although I'm getting a little low. These are casters, but their thing does as much as a melee attack would do anyway. He's just afraid of all my tanky mitigation capabilities, of course. Come on, come on. So many of those. I wonder if they'd stack. It doesn't seem like the kind of thing that really would. You got to be very wary of respawns, and the only reason why is because of other people. On my own, I wouldn't need to be at all. This will be a 60 episode series where I get an average of 1 level per episode, but it's going to turn into actually a lot more than that. I can't believe I almost just threw it. Because it's not like I'm going to try again if I die, and it wasn't even a thought, but now I'm kind of reminding myself you can't be this reckless. My desire to like do every quest is going to do me in. It's not like I can't craft stuff for engineering, right? Like why not just do that now? I can go in there with a fucking bomb and that'll help. Or just spam them. That'll be the Fizzle Darkstorm answer. It'll still be leveling it up. Yeah, why didn't I think of doing that actually? I have the resources. It's like, oh, I don't want to waste them, but what else? You know, at least you're going to use it to level it up. It's still going to be tough though. Like you throw a bomb, it does like 30 damage. You pull them away. Like I still feel like I have to be a higher level to do it. And sometimes enemies are going to be like right on top of each other in such a way that you have to fight them together. Which is one of the death knells of this whole experience, is just having to fight multiple things at once. In that case, you can kind of just skip the encounter. With this mindset though, I'm going to get myself in a lot of trouble by trying to... I don't even have a pick to be able to take that up. I'm going to have even less space than normal because of the simple fact that I don't have the ability to... what do you call it? The more greens, I guess, actually, the worse it is now. I'm going to have the engineering stuff, but I guess I can clean out this if it's actually going to take that up. I forget what it actually costs. I think it costs, like, rough stone, so I can make, like, 20 bombs. They're going to have a cooldown or something, though. Yeah, I like how fresh some of this stuff is for me, actually. Like, obviously, you know a lot about engineering just from seeing other people do it, but I don't really know exactly how a lot of the things work. I guess I haven't really worried about stuff like that since the original classic, like... When I was redoing it through this, I was kind of just breezing through it a little bit. I did do some thorough stuff on the Alliance, like trying to read some of the quests I didn't do, but I love that in the cheese shop in Stormwind, like by the entrance, where he references Deathwing attacking Stormwind. And that really was in Classic, I'm pretty sure. It's not like they added it just for the re-release, so... Yeah, like, that'll be the day when when pigs fly, when Deathwing attacks Stormwind. They're like mocking their own expansion idea in a way, or foreshadowing it brilliantly. So now it says it like verbatim too, when Deathwing attacks Stormwind. Like, how can they be so perfectly on the nose? Go back to Razor Hill. We craft some stuff, maybe. Abandoned house. Maybe you could try to guess what happened to it. That raptor was standing in that same exact spot last time too, like right behind the fence at such an angle. Like he's not moving. He's totally bugged out. You have 2 spaces left. What other quest do I have? Kill humans or something, which again, I don't know that I'm going to find any more the rest of the way. So that might be all you get. You have to go back to Terragard Keep or something, which is actually fine. I can't think of another. You almost shouldn't be allowed to do that, but you know, I'm in such need of a bag that you almost think I should. The Fizzle's gonna wait. I don't care how long we have to wait, but I'll still do it. There's nothing else to do. Just kill the harpies, but you don't even have to kill them. Just like get the bags and stuff from them, which will be closer to here anyway. Like, maybe you don't have to take such a long-winded route. You could have just come back that way and taken the path, but it's almost the same thing. At least now we know, and we don't have to go back to Thunder Ridge for a while, because that's just too much. Even if I do make the bombs, I'll just wait. Trying to think if there's any other human enemies that you might face. I feel like there's not any like humans or centaurs, because I would feel bad for doing the quest. It feels like a good excuse to, you know, go to another area. But even with the Burning Blade, I don't think there's humans there. It was just orcs and the Goblin. Goblin Warlock. Was that something you could play on release? Because this would be like the first one that you actually see in combat, and he is a Warlock. So what are the, you know, it's like, oh, they can't innately be those, even though there already were at the very beginning of the game. I just found it kind of unusual and kind of a shock moment that you're actually fighting a Goblin like that so early. Like, you know, you're mostly fighting other races, but you don't think of Goblins like that. But you know, they don't seem to hate Goblins, period. They just don't like this particular one. We're seeing an undead here, and then I'll be going to Tourist Fall Glades myself at some point. So they'll be seeing an orc here. Yeah, why was I hesitating to do this? You don't even need this necessarily, but I'll make it so that I almost do. Rough blasting powder. Now I'll need linen cloth too. How much did these really do that it'd be worth it? 26 to 34 in a 5-yard radius. But you could potentially spam them, couldn't you? There's no sense of a cooldown, so I'll just spam like 50 of them on Fizzle, and that'll be fine. There's no rule against doing that. But then again, how many of these are we really going to have? So we can do this, and gives us another excuse to go to Terragard Keep. So I'm actually fine with doing that. We'll get to 13. We'll go to Terragard Keep. Like, I'm very against the idea of farming stuff, but this almost doesn't even feel like farming. You're still just doing objectives, and like, at least if you're going to do it in an area that you haven't been to yet. Yeah, we would need like 20 linen, and we would need the 8 little canvas scraps. The problem is I don't even really have room for it, but then again I do, because the rough stone's going to be going out the window. And you won't be able to abuse this too much, because I created a scenario where I have a finite number of resources because of the simple fact that I'm not able to do the same mining node twice. At least I'll have to go to a lot of different areas to do that, which also justifies the Tourist Fall Glades Mulgore sort of little escapade that we're going to go on. That's not really why, of course, but that's good to clear out the stone. And then all we have to do is just have 2 spots open, one for a full stack of linen and one for a stack of the canvas stuff, which we should have because of this. This is going to be interesting. And then we'll get rid of the linen, and this will make even more room. We could go back and take out Fizzle even under this circumstance. See, this doesn't feel like cheese because you're doing it so much within limits. There's no rule against using professions, period, first of all, but you won't be able to, you know, mail like 1,000,000 bombs from your main. You'll have to just do it organically. Okay, this you don't have to worry about. Orgrimmar. You'll do the sack of supplies, but let me get the bag first. That'll give me a little comfort zone in before I get a whole bunch of other stuff that I won't want to part with. We're not going to worry about copper and stuff really for the rest of the, maybe the Durotar experience, or at least until we're up in this northern part of it. This is actually taking a little bit longer than I thought it might. This is just assuming that there's not going to be any more. Maybe the point is I should have picked up that quest before I did Terragard Keep. For whatever reason. The guy up there who's trying to make the bag for you. You go in here and all you have to do is get one full stack, which you should also do within the process of... This is where we lost our pet. We got to mourn that thing. I guess I should count that as just losing it, period. It's like a tough learning moment, so that'll count as we can't get a raptor again. It's like sort of a PTSD moment. Like our character is very mentally fickle when it comes to stuff like that. Like their parent killed their favorite pet with a bow, so that's why they never use ranged. And and so now they lost their raptor, so they can't bear to have another one. And fear losing it again. And so beyond that, you're going to run into the same thing with every pet you get. We might just settle for a bat or something else. I want one melee one and I want one ranged one. I don't know anything about the metas of like which ones are which. But you can get like a rare spawn. Like the Rake and Mulgore. Somehow I know about that one. We might get it just by sheer chance. It's not like I know where it is exactly offhand. Or I'll end up getting killed by it. So there's no shame in being a little bit over leveled for the sake of stuff like that. Even in the context of, you know, the way that you're playing is not very conducive to it. Well, there goes the linen thing. We'll get the bag and then I'll worry about it. I guess I'll come back again. I mean, the bag space thing is kind of triggering me a little bit too, but it is what it is. We're doing it only for the scraps. It doesn't really seem like they're dropping linen either. I might have to wait on that. I guess it's not a rush thing. You'll kill the harpies. Somebody else must be here because there's usually like 3 in there. These aren't even necessarily giving me experience. So this does almost give off the impression of farming, but this is still a quest that I haven't done. So imagine how many goodies you can get from the quest from Mulgore and Tirisfal. Almost makes you think you're going to get like silk cloth. Like already? That's way too good and way too valuable. Is that actually better than mine? It can't be. Of course, cloaks are always cloth, no matter who you are. Even though that's not true, right? Because aren't there some that are called like mail cloak? Chain mail cloak or something? Okay, so this one won't be too bad. We'll get plenty of more bag space. They're not even dropping linen, so I guess I don't feel too bad about potentially missing out on it. Any of the humanoids should technically be able to do that. 12 versus 20. If it wasn't upgraded, I'd feel bad about it because I don't have room for it. In fact, please don't drop a green, which at this level they really shouldn't, but the space is such an issue, dude. We've sacrificed for long enough, so let's just do this. No. I'm almost being careful as to like not pick something else up, but I'm already filled up, so it doesn't matter. Wow, I guess I shouldn't be in a hurry to get out of Durotar or anything. This will literally go on forever and I don't even care. This is the thorough single-player, solo, hard mode, immersive, multi-format run that only I would have the patience to do. Kind of teasing me with that. Give me a PTSD kind of shock moment where I get crit. Because I'm reflecting on the death of my pet. Like, oh, an arrow. And I have a flashback, actual quality RP moment. Okay, 6 out of 8. The charges they do when you pull them can sometimes be a little bit scary. I already feel overpowered. Only thing that makes the whole experience feel like less open world and open-ended. Even though you still do have like several zones to choose between. Like, you know, you have at least the 3. You would technically have 3 between 10 and 22, but you only have 2 because the trolls get really cocked. Or I guess the torrent get cocked. You would expect the trolls to get cocked the same way that the gnomes do, like with Loch Madan, but... this is linen, but I can't do anything about it. I could waste the potion. It's not a huge deal, but that shows you the rate of dropping linen is actually not that good. And of course, the mace we'd never be able to use anyway, even if, not that it would matter, and be worth saving just for that alone. Wait. Oh, that's still only 7 out of 8. Okay, one more. Just got so distracted by the linen that I've been waiting for. Man, I swear abilities like that are going to scare the shit out of me. Like, what are you, role-playing as a boar? Boars are the only thing that oh, here we go. As soon as I mentioned that they're not dropping linen. Could I make it back here in time to be able to do that after we get the bag? And I still can't make that until I get 20 linen, the engineering thing. It's not like I need it right now, but just to have in my back pocket. Now, this isn't one that sort of stuns them, though, the way that you get stuff like that later. This is a very basic kind. I guess I can look at it, but I'm not allowed to craft stuff out in the wild. But I almost shouldn't even be able to. I should have to remember, like, what it is that I'm looking for. So the next thing will be the harpies. My Valentine's favorite area. I forget where else you even see that many of them. I don't feel like they're a super common enemy type. Not like the quillboars where you see them every goddamn place. I guess I didn't realize even how many of them you see, at least in Durotar. Not the home of the orcs, actually. The home of the quillboar. And one of the quest techs even gave them credit. Like, they are cunning and smart, but I'm surprised even he was impressed at, like, how much of a spot they've carved out for themselves here. Little do you know, they're actually sort of under the influence of the Scourge. I always call him, like, Ras Frost Whisper, but is that not... I guess I confused him maybe with somebody else. Rage Winter Chill, that's from Hyjal. For some reason, I thought he was affiliated with the Scourge. Or, I mean, with the Legion instead, somehow. But, not really. Okay, go here. Turn in the quest, which is all the way up top of that. I really don't know where that pool of water is that it's showing on the map here. Quite a large one, too. Like, what is it? At the top of the fucking inn? Or... You would think it'd be, like, up there, but I don't see anything up there. That I almost just stumbled upon by sheer RP sake. Like, oh, I wonder what's up here, even though I expect it's nothing. But then there actually is a quest there. So see, it even makes stuff like that relevant. And this is a very important quest, actually. You give these up, you have a third bag. It's only 4 slots, kind of trolling me in a little bit, but sometimes less is more. That makes it more meaningful than when we finally get another 6 bag or whatever. I'm just stunned at how bad the drop rates have been. We're almost like going to go farm for them now with the linen cloth idea. Let's actually do the harpy thing first, though, or they might drop linen too. Any humanoid should be able to do it. So the quillboar, the centaur. This quest you couldn't get from the quillboar, though, apparently. The scraps. That's almost a good way to teach you, like, who can drop what. The fact that these can drop the canvas scraps means that they can also drop the, like, actual cloth. This guy's like some 1 day away from retirement. I fought proudly alongside the war chief when these lands were pioneered. Really? You were one of the miscellaneous grunts in Warcraft 3 that he would just summon from the barracks and have follow him around. That's always my interpretation of raids in WoW. Like, it's a 40-man raid, so there's like Tyrion Fordring or whoever, right, leading the pack, like against the Lich King. So you are one of the generic units in Warcraft 3 that he would be using to go along as he's killing like a boss in the game, you know? I found proudly along that the scars of the battle mark my skin. The honor of the Horde has been upheld with the help of my axe and battle cry during the defeat of Archimonde, when the unholy alliance was made with the humans and elves, wrought from necessity. Unholy alliance, really. My position as watchman and provider has given me a new sense of worth. Like, this is really what you get, though, for doing all that? I don't know whether this is a prestigious position or not. Level 6 that you are. What the fuck do you think you were doing that had to do with Archimonde? Most excellent yeah, I think they're trying to even imply he's a bit delusional. Right? Like, who really is this guy? Most excellent, any good hunter will surely find a use for this bag on the battlefield. Or like he gave him this as an honorary retirement reward that you can just chill and look over Razor Hill. Or maybe he reverted in level. It's like a Benjamin Button thing. Or not really. Like, he was level 60, but now he became level 6 because he's getting old and dying, which is not something you have to really go through as a player. Any good hunter will surely find use for this bag on the battlefield. I salute your your vigor and willingness to die in the name of the horde. No, not willingness to die for any reason ever. Although I like him trying to justify my ineptitude so far today. There's this mysterious body of water that no mortal could possibly account for. You can't go any higher. The only way is you could go lower. So it might be like under Thunder Ridge that you walk all the way. I really can't figure it out. I mean, it's not like there's a timetable on when you have to do the fishing challenge that way. Let's do the Harpy quest, and then hopefully that'll give us enough linen to craft the sexy thing too, the bombs. I guess I'll spare Fizzle for now. We could have taken him out, but I just don't want to take the risk. We'll use like 20 bombs back to back. I'm pretty sure they don't have cooldown, so you could totally do that. He wants to spam me with Shadow Bolts. We'll see. So let's do this, and then just keep all this organized. We have at least 6 spaces. Harpies could also drop back, so that would be good. Getting maybe a little bit of a stutter today. I don't know why. Always something wrong with this game somehow, performance-wise or recording-wise. Like even there's like this weird motion blur sometimes, which doesn't happen in any other game. Dire modeled boar. I should almost have done the humanoid tracking for this, but it is what it is. Doesn't matter too much. So here you'll have the 2 harpy chambers. You'll have to get 5 of the sacks. See if maybe there's a chest or something. This is the only one left to do, and that guy will save. And then, like I said, the burning blade outside Orgrimmar is the only other quest I can think of. Maybe you have one here. You can just kind of go like area by area and assume like how many more quests could there possibly be? Where hasn't it told me to go? We've done it in kind of a very thorough linear sense. Like we've gone section by section. I haven't really skipped anything unless I just missed a quest giver altogether. That should invalidate the 100% run. Or see, like even there, doesn't it seem like it's stuttering a little bit? I can't really tell. Oh, there we go. This is sexy linen we're talking about. I will go for Fizzle actually if he gives me 20. Fuck it. Although it's hard to abuse that level thing because you'd have to go in at like exactly the right time. I mean, I don't have to do it yet. I'll get him eventually. I think I'll rest outside the gates of Orgrimmar to make sure I'm not getting actual rested experience, but that'll be like a good end-off point. So technically outside, I guess, doesn't count as in... Well, it can never be inside because we're not trying to... Damn, I could actually do that, but I forgot my pick. Now at least I have room, but the more I say that, the more it's going to be gone. You know, this I technically wouldn't have been able to loot. So it's twofold problem, and now I might get attacked by the fucking respawn. There's so many problems with this whole idea. They're rubbing in my face too. I bet wish you could use that as a bag. You can have the supplies in it, but you can't have the bag itself. And there's a couple harpies here, so this is just the exit point of it. There's a satchel there. Level 7s. I mean, of course, these are going to give me less experience too, but the worthy trade-off. I mean, this is going way beyond my rule of 2. This is like a rule of 5, where you attack them, you know, you fight stuff way below your level, which isn't necessarily my intent. I don't see why you'd even have to fight them this far out. Look how far out that chick is. What does she even have to do with anything? This is somehow satisfying even to do as like a one ability melee fucking thing, because you're gonna have these like sort of well-placed, well-timed things. I don't know how to really explain it. It's sort of like a bang 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 type of you have like these 3 things that you can do, but you can do them only like X number of times. Like you'll throw the 1 bomb, you'll do the 1 ability, you'll do your 1 trap. So every fight you have to use it like strategically, right? Like think about like your Batman. You throw the Batarang, and you have to disable 1 guy with that. Then you hit somebody with your melee. Then you use your hook shot. Like if you do one thing wrong, like you miss with the Batarang, now you're gonna get fucked by that 1 guy. You're gonna get shot by him or something. Or if you miss the melee hit, right, that guy's gonna get you. It's not like you're just overpowered or invincible. You have to turn off the lights at the right time. You have these answers, but you have to use them strategically and go in properly with them. And somehow we're comparing that to a hunter in WoW, a survival melee hunter. So we can technically get both of these actual nodes. I guess we're not too far from town, but I'm not gonna go back. And I'm playing it dangerously with respect to how close that chick is. But these are such a joke to kill. In fact, I don't even have to kill them at all. But I guess I want that linen cloth. So, I mean, it would be a worthy way to get rid of Fizzle, I guess, to do this, assuming it works the way I think it does, which it might. It's not even him that's so much of a risk, although he's doing 50 per hit. Now, I think I'll wait till I have a pet before I try to do that, too. Although, you can't send the pet in, really, or he'll really punish you as far as trying to go in there and sort of aggro everything. You have to always wait, pull him with my telepathic range that I technically don't have. I mean, you could do that for selling purposes. Just have to be careful. You have to really commit to your inventory properly. Because you can't destroy stuff that can get you in trouble later. Like, oh, I get like a blue BOE thing, but I have nothing I can, you know, consume from my inventory. I just give up a potion to do it. You wouldn't think the space would be this much of an issue later, but who knows? We are actually working towards that 20 mark. So let's get the other 10 linen and stuff on the other side too. We technically got 4 out of 5 of these already. Okay, take care of that shit. Who's that card in Hearthstone? That, oh, even the 5th one is here too. Like Aviana, who you could do like all your minions cost 1. I don't know who some of these people even are in lore, as much as a lore fan as I am. Maybe in some later expansion that you actually get to check them out. Like I only know the lore up to, let's say, Wrath, and I'm not gonna act like I know all of it by hand now, but there's a lot of little nuances and interesting things over the years that I sort of had discussions about. I think most shocking of all was Ner'zhul, how they sort of cucked him and said they wrote Ner'zhul out of the story, and then they said, oh, Arthas is the big bad, and yet then he plays the victim, like, oh, father, is it over? Like, is what over? You're supposed to be the bad guy. Oh, like he snapped out of it, but snapped out of what? Ner'zhul's not there, so what the fuck do you mean? At least then you could portray like, oh, it was Ner'zhul was the villain the whole time, and he's the one, you know, he's the reason why his voice sounds like that and all these different things. You have like Ner'zhul's influence, but then Arthas is also a victim, so how can you be a bad guy, such a big bad guy, and a villain at the same time? It doesn't really work. They're trying to go for like the Darth Vader thing, but I mean, even that wasn't planned, like for Vader to be Luke's father at the beginning. He could have still had like a redemption arc, like, oh, he still killed his father and he's a bad guy. So like, even if it doesn't seem to make sense, like the point would be, you know, he betrayed and murdered your father, is what Obi-Wan says. So you could still frame it like, okay, so he redeems his betrayal of your father and finds the Jedi in him to try to help you. So it wouldn't have been as powerful, I guess, for people, but damn, you can just look upon Orgrimmar from here. Oh, we could sleep in this hut, I guess. Gotta make a deal and agree to find their dead child, though, to be able to do it. Why so many undead here, huh? Or we could do this Harpy Cave, assuming the next quest wouldn't tell me to do that anyway. There's got to be a place where there's no enemies, like, really close by, though, so it doesn't feel like we're putting ourselves at risk, but it's not like it matters. It wouldn't let you log out anyway. Roll of Spirit, I guess I just can't do, or I could drink this and then do it. Those will totally be buffs that I keep forever. Like, look how stingy I'm being with them. You really shouldn't be, but once I get to a bang, then I don't mind just dumping some of this stuff in there. So there's a Harpy Cave. There's Fizzle Darkstorm. What other things have we missed here on the map? This is the Zeppelin. This is the Burning Blade. This is the Kobor. This is just like empty space with a bunch of stuff. So there's been no quest so far to tell me to kill the Thunder Lizards either. So if they send me back there for that reason, oh, look how close we are to leveling up too. The problem is I couldn't get to him without preventing that from happening, right? Like, oh, I'll go and kill Fizzle's imp and that'll give me enough experience to heal me back up to full. That's the kind of meta way you could go about it. If there was an NPC to turn off your experience here, like in the other, like in later expansions, that's actually a pretty good feature to have. There's so many good reasons why you could want that to happen. Not the least of which could be twinking. I actually love twinking too over the years. In fact, I even did it when Classic re-released. I had like a paladin and just not even like super twinked out, like no enchants and stuff. It just, you know, what did I have? That hand of like some blue weapon, I forget. Or I think I even had the axe from RFK, right? I can't remember. Okay, so sell this, sell this, sell this. The only thing left to check out would be the simple fact of, oh, I guess I didn't get enough cloth as I wanted. As of 11 bombs wouldn't be enough. Like, I'm still worried about space even then. So who? Oh, we got to keep going, I guess, to find that. You know what? Let's just see how they look, even though this is a ill use of space. Well, I don't have any quests really relating to beasts right now, so I may as well just make that educated decision. This is ultimately leveling your engineering too, so it's kind of worth it. This seems kind of like a degenerate thing to do, but it is what it is. You can literally spam those. Do 10 of them, you'll do like up to 300. How could that not be enough to kill this fucker Fizzle, dude? Should we do it? Should we do it? If only I could sneak in there somehow. But then I wouldn't want to do that anyway. I would want to fight my way to him. You almost have our maxed out parry that we'll ever have, because I kind of wanted even more than this, but it's going to be hard to even get them because, oh, it takes up more of that than I realized. So I guess I didn't need as much linen as you'd think. It takes up 2 each, so that's actually perfect. Now you can put this on a hotkey, and this will be like one of our core abilities that we can just do. And that's, you know, part of the trade-off of our class is that we're able to do that. Oh, that is kind of fun. There's no cooldown. Turn in the Harpy quest, and we could rest over here. I'm tempted to do Fizzle. Doing a quest for one goblin makes me want to kill another goblin for some inexplicable reason. Not because he said it or did anything wrong to me. That could be the final boss of this whole playthrough. For better or for worse. That's the only other quest we have, dude. A lot of the other ones we'll get, I think, in Orgrimmar, unless there's random NPCs somewhere around here. And then we could chill in this house up here on the way to Orgrimmar, so we're still not there yet. Look at what you can turn this into. This is the game. Forget about the rest of the zones and the rest of the leveling and classes and races. Literally just going through Durotar is a full-fledged single-player game. Think about it. If the max level was like 15 and you just did all this, going through all this one zone is like a whole game. Especially in like 2004 times. This would take you longer than it would take to beat Half-Life 2 or to beat, you know, the DLC as well. Still waiting for episode 3. I guess Half-Life Alyx was basically the Half-Life 3 people were waiting for. And I don't even say that because I know, because I haven't beaten the game, or I haven't played the game, but I haven't even beaten the DLC for Half-Life 2 or 1. Like, whatever it's called. Where you get to play as opposing force, the invaders. Because I was kind of saving those. Like, I'll wait till Half-Life 3 comes out before I do that. At least I still have something to look forward to. But no, it's like, I'll do a first playthrough permadeath of all those. Basically... don't even get me started on that. Half-Life 2 permadeath on hard was one of the most annoying things ever to do. It can go from 100 to 0 so fast. It is almost like a trial and error type of thing. It was so irritating. But yeah, Half-Life Alyx was basically the Half-Life 3 you could have wished for, it based on people's response. I'm great at what I do, don't get me wrong, but this is ridiculous. What am I supposed to do? Build sandcastles? Hey now, isn't that just the thing? You got our supplies back for us, that's great. I'll be able to get back to work just as soon as I find someone to haul these sacks for me. So in other words, you get me to get them for you and then get someone to haul them for you. So what the fuck do you do? Gazlo told me once, Rezlak, there's one thing you need to know in life, and that is if you want something done well, you do it yourself. He can't help him. Yeah, ironic based on what we just said. I can't deal with losing all our caravans, so I'm just going to take matters into my own hands. Dry Gulch Ravine lies through the eastern part of Razorwind Canyon. If we kill all the harpies there, the routes will be safe. Of course, there was one other thing that Gazla taught me, and that's you can get anything done for a price. So going to help me out. Self-aware of his irony at least. Bo, he's teasing me with. Harpy Wing Clipper. You could give me that first, though. That would help. Let me get it on loan, and then when I come back alive. So what is it? Oh, yeah, I forgot to even do the talent. What will I get next? I kind of want that. Wing Clip is trash. You're not going to do that. The traps I kind of like. What was it? Dry Gulch Ravine. Oh, is that not to do with the... Let's see if this house is safe at least. It doesn't seem like it is. But which one is... It doesn't matter if it's gray. Dustwind Savage, Dustwind Storm Witch. He never even made me kill any of these. This is an actual legitimate part of our rotation, except we're going to have a very limited number of them. Like, I'm not going to use them, but very sparingly. which means I'll use all 20 on Fizzle Darkstorm. Oh, I guess it makes multiple of them too for each one. Oh, I thought there was another house in between. This is just literally the one by the Zeppelin. Don't know what this place is. Never seen it before. Alliance player plays Horde for the first time. Jagged Swine Farm. Oh, there was some... This is some juvenile joke, like... Jagged Swine, more like my... I have a jagged swine in my pants or something really stupid. I mean, fucking trade chat back in the day. What do you want me to say? 26, and you poisoned me. 3 every 5 seconds, almost as bad as Ren. Almost as bad as Serpent Sting. Oh, this would be kind of busted if I use these. That's why I'm restricting my, I guess, ability to get them. Although there could still be many mining nodes here going on. I guess I was wrong. This isn't going to be a Cold War area, so this is sort of encouraging me to flesh out the map all the way. Right, so you'll go here and you'll kill all the harpies. And then you'll basically be able to... Oh, I kind of want to kill Fizzle, though. I won't deny it. The point is, if I fuck up, I shouldn't die, but I'll basically won't have enough resources to try it again. I don't know why I'm torturing myself like that. Like, if I die, it won't be because... But I won't even make an excuse. Like, it's just my choice. I don't even know what this part is of Durotar. Isn't that, like, what is Dry Gulch Ravine? I don't get it. Oh, it's probably inside the cave, of course. And I should have PTSD enough not to even pick stuff like that up. Oh, will this show up on the map as a body of water? It should. I guess you can't tell because I'm like right on top of it. Bargos. I don't know what that guy's deal is. He'll probably have a quest for somebody at some point. Can't really make out that that's water, to be fair. Oh, maybe that's the house I was looking at before. You have to go through, do the harpies. We could fish here, I guess, once, just for the fuck of it. Deadeye Shore. Even that's teasing us. Like, we got Deadeye Aim. Yeah, this is a part that I feel like people don't go to very much. You can even still see the shipwrecks from, like, outside Razor Hill. I don't feel like there's much to do here, really. Like, this exact part of Durotar is kind of dead. Where's my axe? Level 8. You would think these should be a little bit higher, too, because of the simple fact that you're able to... You know, by the time you get here, you should be a very high level, like what I am, clearly. We're doing the rule of 5, I guess, for the time being. I mean, you can't say I'm not even putting myself at risk, though, with some of these fucking things that are happening. Just don't aggro multiple things at once, but I guess at least here you could get away somewhat with doing that. We should get a mining pick, first of all. You sell some of these things. You almost don't need more than 10 of these. In fact, I arguably don't even need 10 of them, period. It's just... somehow, for some anti-venom recipe, I just kind of want it, I guess. Once again, we're in the whole space issue. Linen cloth will be fine. I don't have the rough stone, so it's not like I can make more of those gadgets. In fact, selling the rough stone, the excess could have been a big mistake because of how... No, but think about how many zones we have to go through. Like, there's no way that should become an issue. Where's that house I keep seeing? What is this house? Out in literally the middle of nowhere. We saw that dude. I was trying to like fill out the map too, but I guess I shouldn't rush it. We have at least one more session of Durotar in us for sure, even though I thought today would be the last.
What do you need?
What's a young hunter like you visiting an old farmer like me?
Go.
Where's your farm though, dude? Oh, here. Actually, a proper farm too. I'm helping you clear it up from the raptor, like a little mini side quest. Rock, but you're making him do the work, teaching him the way of the trade. It looks like he could pass off his hemp or something. Durotar legalized weed. Very progressive. So, Dry Gulch Ravine is basically that cave. Assuming those are like the only 2 quests left that we have to do. In fact, that would be an acceptable place to log out. But no, it shouldn't be that. Well, we have a little bit of unfinished business with our dude. Should I try it? I mean, I should reasonably be able to do it. I almost don't even want to keep these. Like, what's the point in having that many? That one I definitely haven't done. And my mining is... Wait, why did it look like it was gray? Oh, it's not. Clearly, this jump wouldn't kill me. Actually, a little higher than maybe I'm giving it credit for. Imagine what a stupid way to die that would be. Or you'll get yourself in a middle spot. Like, you'll jump from a high place to the middle ground. And then your only way to get out of there would be to... I guess you could hardstone. There's no rule against that. The only way out would be to jump down. And that might actually kill you if it's like a really, really steep place. Or you'll get knocked off of some cliff by something. I feel like there's not too many enemies that have abilities like that, but I think I remember an encounter in the Plaguelands on the top of a tower where something like that almost happened. You have 3 spaces available. You do have a stack of linen cloth, so everything's good with that. Have a decent amount of silver. Of course, the quests and stuff are giving me more now. So... yeah, I'll rest in a house. I guess we could do that, guys, instead. I kind of wanted it to be the Goshek farm or whatever, assuming that's what it's called. Well, only 2 more quests. I'm surprised this is taking so goddamn long, though. Securing the lines. Get anything but the bow, although I would just sell it anyway. Let's see how long it'll take before we get our first gold, too. Why did it look like... that must have been the house that I saw, like at a weird angle. It was kind of like... let's do the harpy one, actually. See how many quests this goblin guy has. I think he'll just actually have a super long chain for me. Tell me to do this, then he'll tell me to kill the thunder lizards too. Make room for his caravan that they're fucking ransacking like here. Right outside Orgrimmar too. How can you feel safe in your homes? That's the one thing this game didn't have, as revolutionary as it still was, just like player housing and stuff. Every building could have like its own potential for you to own it. Although, how would you fit all the NPCs and stuff then? Yeah, nice, dude. At least that doesn't really help me too much, so I don't feel too bad about it. Same exact thing. I could drink the water, I guess, to do this. Now, see, that guy might attack me, whoever's attacking him, because he buffed me. So he could be trying to troll me without me even realizing it. And now it'll take a super long time, so go ahead and fight me then. Fuck it. At least I had the presence of mind to notice that, but you see how that can snowball. Somebody will try to help you even with good intentions, but then it'll fuck you over. Or it kind of fucks me over anyway, just because in principle I don't like that. I shouldn't really do this looting so much. You don't just pick up everything because your space is still limited, but now I can't complain. At least I got a 3rd bag. Harpy, so... Burning Blade? I didn't know there were Burning Blade in here. So how are they aligned with the fucking... This is where the humanoid tracking helps, I guess. Like, aligned with the harpies. How would that even make sense? I don't know where all these storm witches and stuff are then. I thought this was the one. Or maybe that's what I was killing before. Cracked bill. More like the US dollar in 2023, am I right? So we didn't buy the mining pick either, I don't think. Because I'm kind of stupid. So a lot of these would have counted towards my thing. But then again, maybe I don't have as much space as I think. So there's a lot of Burning Blade peeps here. Thug. Dry Gulch Ravine. Am I missing something? Near Dry Gulch Ravine. Why is it showing me Burning Blade stuff? What the fuck? It must be like above me or something? Or maybe it's bugged out? What would they have to do with this area? Dustwind Savage. Missing out on precious mining nodes. So the rough stone is given great value by these things. Because even if you think about it later, like it could be just spammable value. You wouldn't even have to worry about it from a context of, is that actually going to be better than mine? No, of course not. I don't know what that was. I was seeing their stuff. They're like up above somewhere, I guess. Which, where would that be compared to where we are, huh? Presumably there'd be some quest that takes you there, but this would be a storm witch. This place is actually pretty well hidden away. Kill 12 of those, kill 8 of these, and I'll finish off Fizzle, and I guess I'll be satisfied. You have to clear out that whole area with the thunder lizards, and then you'll feel like there's actually something worthwhile to escape to. Every time you fight a new enemy, too, you have to be super on alert. Don't take it too casual like I'm doing. Okay, this clown's gonna mess up my whole vibe. What can I even sell here? These 3. Even that's a luxury to have that many options. Here we go, dude. I should have just made it even super hardcore. Like, you can't even use a pet, but you want to give it some kind of class identity where it's not just completely boring. Like, you can't use your abilities already, so what? You just can't do anything at all, ever? Now, how the fuck would you even do that? If you had this magical thing called range, or I could maybe hit it with my bomb even up there. And I killed 12 of these. The sound they make is very savage indeed. I'll give it to them there. Yeah, why does it seem like it's stuttering a little bit here? 52, it can't handle my elite skills and my elite damage. You see, I maneuvered out of near-death situations pretty smoothly. Getting away from the crocodile, somehow he was slowing down kind of at the end. Nobody helped me there. And then even getting away from the... avoiding aggroing the storm lizard dude. They don't really care. They're just watching up from a perch. There'll be some kind of stuff that's tied together as far as aggro, which maybe these two are a good example. It is a level 11, so it's not to be taken too lightly. Oh, here we go. The respawn problem yet again. Really, really unpleasant. Speaking of kind of a similar way to squirm your way out. You gotta really master how those aggro ranges work. In a moment of adrenaline, your true self and your true skills and nature come out. Anybody else would have folded there. Those are like my 3 brushes with death. One while trying to tame my pet, which was kind of intentional. It's like, I have enough faith in you, but he didn't have enough faith in me after I fucking starved the guy, which isn't my fault. Then the crocodile, and then the Fizzle Darkstorm. The cheat death is a power only one has discovered, but if we work together, I know we can discover the secret. Me to my pet. And he's like, fuck you, dude. Got more integrity than Anakin. Or he's just a skeptic that what I'm talking is shit. But then, of course, Palpatine did eventually discover it, so that's actually foreshadowing for Disney. Give them a thumbs up. Okay, so now something will respawn also in the middle here. But at least if you go to this one, maybe it shouldn't respawn. These guys, you really have to try to line of sight because they really stay committed to their range, huh? Something's totally gonna respawn, like right around there. I know. Ah, went too far. I kind of want that chest. Even. Oh, see, good call. Blessing in disguise. It's so annoying because it's not like I killed all of these. Some of them were already dead. So how am I supposed to know everything? Right, like I have to wait, just extra careful with the spawns. I guess I have these two in reserve if I really need them. Look how organically I did that too, right? Like that's just, you could normally do this as a regular player without any sort of help from a higher level character or anything. Within the limited amount of resources that I have. And then people say that's like cheating, which obviously it's not. And even that I'm restricting more. Okay, can you just... Come on. You'll hit me with the first one, guaranteed. But then beyond that, can we actually fight you finally? Like, don't go too far, I guess. Go here. Even that's enough. Like, how far from that one do you have to be? Won't take any mercy on this clown. Yeah, I'll show you Savage. I guess that would make more sense if I was fighting the Savage one. Yeah, most of these caster enemy types aren't that crazy, but I mean, even then, I'm still pretty scared of Fizzle because he's got like 50 damage a thing. Won't mind if I get to like level 14 beforehand. You know what I haven't checked in a while is actually the spells. But most of them aren't going to be very useful because of the simple fact that you're not able to use them because you need a bow in order to do that. Because I could do this unless she's tied to the chest. What? Why did it just despawn like that? I've never seen that happen before. So I'm about to loot a chest and it just disappears. The game just ninja looted a chest from me. Look, I'm being sabotaged. This is a true hard mode. A game master just came and struck that shit away. Even for a dead game like this, like they're out to get me. What is that? It just despawned. For me trying to be cheap and do it without finishing what's on my plate and killing this. Not that I really need it, or probably there would even be anything in there. Nostalgia for a mage. We're gonna come up with some parachute fucking shit as an engineer. I forget how to do. I mean, a lot of the stuff is super elaborate to actually make. I don't see chests ever do that. Right? It's one thing if it respawns, but why would it despawn? So many weird things have happened this episode. Okay, let's finish this. Maybe we'll save the epic encounter with that dude for next time, even though I'm tempted to just go for it. I guess there's no rush. Just be an epic punctuation of this experience. Then we really are almost done, as much as this took a lot longer than I thought. Unless this dude has more quests for us, the Goblin. This is really all I'm doing, is just trying to complete every single quest here, which is surprising. Not even how many there are, but how much experience I'm getting, even without rest. It's like, oh, it's because I'm not splitting it with my pet. But that wouldn't be relevant for any other class. The Burning Blade is camping up here somewhere up top. I don't really understand how or why that is, because the Burning Blade is over there in like a cave. Arger's Shield. That's like my character in Anthem. I keep slamming everybody with my shield with plus 300% damage on it. Okay, I'm getting a little bit too overly aggressive, and also don't stand so close because of the simple fact that they have the compunction to run away or fly away, I guess. Have they ever made like a harpy into a flying mat? What's going on? I guess the fact that I'm lower on health makes this more effective, but what is this chick doing? How come she was so much stronger than anybody else? Make sure we don't miss like a green or something, although even if I do, I guess I could use like a scroll of spirit or something. A lot of the time I'm not even eating or... Wait, what? Okay, I'll go ahead and pop my last potion. You shouldn't even think twice about it. Oh, I didn't even have the racial ability up. I thought I had just used that. That's okay. Never hesitate to use the stuff that you have. Lovely respawn that I was in no control of. So there's a double-edged sword. Have to deal with other people, but I'd rather not deal with it at all. Yeah, look at the entitled streamers who are going to complain, oh, boo-hoo, I'm getting griefed. Meanwhile, you know, you got to take the good with the bad. You'll complain about the one thing you can't do on stream, but you can do literally anything else that other people would die for, even if it's to your credit that you set those things up, like transmog competitions or, you know, huge open world PvP battles. Like they were doing one in Arathi like that, or even having access to like top raiders who would, you know, gladly shill themselves for you just because you're a big name or something. All these kind of benefits you get that you take for granted, even if you earn them and it's a result of your stature, it's like, you know, you got to have some perspective. Wait, what even opened up the space for that? Oh, of course, the potions, of which, you know, I wasted a lot here today, I will admit. Getting some nice crits, of which we'll only see a lot more as we go on. Not because my base crit will go up so much, but because of my this ability, which I'm very much looking forward to. I'll definitely get that first, and then I don't even know when we're going to get the traps. It might not be for a while. Okay, that we need. That I definitely need. Not like spirit's not important, but just somehow it feels like a waste not to get stuff like that. Very relevant for engineering more than anything else. I don't know even how much you might use it in blacksmithing. So at least that's permissible to use. Not that it matters. Not like those two can almost aggro together. And how much you want to get? We're going to get a respawn. That is 100% the thing that would be most likely to kill you. Somebody killed something. Oh, wow. I better just wait. Oh, but what if it doesn't reset then? And I don't have any more potions. Oh, no. Nice little clutch resist. The spirit that I have as a buff is clearly going to save me. There's so many of these scenarios today that could go so wrong. No food, no bandages, no nothing. I guess I do have the grenades or the things, but I got Fizzle's name all over them. Almost still die there. Holy shit, I'm playing it. Very, very risky. We don't even need any more of those. Or maybe that was the last one. I wasn't paying attention, clearly. You'll be standing here and then something will respawn that you didn't kill. So let's just take out this chick. We need like 5 more of them. As if you couldn't just take the food off of her and eat it right away. Right, like use it from her body instead of instead of picking it up first and then using it. Just to save backspace. So let's see here. 159 mana. I guess I didn't really track that it costs quite that much. But just by fighting our way out of here, I'm kind of intrigued by what's behind there, but you know, this is partly an exploration playthrough too. Loose chain stuff is fine. But this is only level 10, and it's... I mean, what could be there aside from just more of these? Yeah, I'm trying to be maybe way too much of an explorer. So fight the rest of these checks. I don't like the comfort that I don't have a potion, though. At least the peace of mind to have one. I guess 2 is going to have to act as my potion if and when that becomes a problem. Those 2 are good. I'm acting like I have a choice in the matter, though. You don't have room. Yes, of course. We'll get the chest, which I also won't be able to use. I guess I could just do these, even though that could somehow be relevant and actually helpful later. Nothing else I can actually get rid of. Like, I could make bandages, but I really can't either. Oh, there's 3 of them all stacked up, too. I don't think I'll be able to do this no matter what. Or at least if I had a pet, maybe you could do it. We'll put ourselves at risk for a goddamn chest. Like, what do you really expect is going to happen there? They'll obviously aggro together, and you'll be screwed. 11, 11, 10. Some of this stuff you could just do at a higher level. It's not like you have to do it right now. There's no way. You can't do it. Yeah, I'm playing it too much like normal. Like, oh, I want to do like a hard mode. I just want to, you know, try this shit out. Don't know what that is. Never going to see that. That's what you mean by dead servers. Just people are fucking dog shit and they keep dying in hardcore. Like, I'm trying to make it harder for myself in a million ways, but I still won't die. And these clowns just can't do it normally. What a disgrace. So we're gonna look for the dude, the goblin. I feel like this is a long chain for some reason. Yeah, this will be perfectly aligned with just fighting our way out of here. The burning blade up top makes me kind of curious, but if I'm in an explorative mood, I can always do it. I can always kind of do it in the context of just later on. You don't have to put yourself at risk to do it. Just explore and obviously farm up resources that are not going to be that significant anyway. So there are still some questions in this part, like what is the stuff at the top about, and what else? That's all like the Zeppelin and stuff. I don't really want to discover Orgrimmar yet. The next episode will probably be still putting the finishing touches on Durotar, and then we'll do Orgrimmar after next episode. Like a 5-6 episode intro tutorial starting zone, but it is what it is. Good way to sort of set the standard and the pace for what this is going to be like. You might not think you have to fight these, but just to be sure that they won't swarm you. So I really hope something gives me a potion coming up soon, but they probably won't. Okay, this is fine. I always wanted a single player MMO. Little did I know, you just play it like I've done in the past too, or you can make any MMO like this. 12 out of 12, so we're done with that. Oh, I'm taking a chance this way too. I want to go to Razor Hill just to actually see what my spells that I can learn are, because I don't think I checked that in a while. I guess I became so disengaged with it because of the simple fact that, you know, so many of these things I can't learn and I can't use anyway. Oh shit. Mechanical scroll that follows you around. That's clearly going to be worth it. I'll even waste these just to do it. Ah. Oh no. Oh, that hurts as an engineer. What could I do to... I can't get rid of anything. Or I can destroy something in the fire here. That actually counts. Oh, there's a fire right there. Oh, I gotta do it quick, quick. What can I get rid of? Just get rid of the stupid cuffs. That's why it's not such a bad condition. Even if you might not think that has special meaning, it'll have special meaning to me. That'll be the only pet companion we get. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, dump it on the fire. Get the mechanical squirrel. Look at how it makes everything so intense. So our engineering's a long way from being there. Actually, not so bad though. 31, huh? How could it even be that high? All I did was make like 20 of the dynamite. How fitting. We've gotten like 5 green things today. The thing I'm using, this, I guess 4. I mean, that kind of counts, but I kind of wanted to turn in the quest first too, but maybe he'll give me an item that I won't be able to hold. Do you see how space can be such an issue for me? I almost want to save this for the bombs now, more so than for the first aid, but either way, it's good. Orcish Orphan. Isn't that like some kind of event, like when some seasonal thing is going on? Which I guess I didn't know it was, or they don't have that weird calendar thing. Or was that even in this at all? I don't even know. I never really liked those holiday type of things. At least the Dark Moon Fair feels like some kind of a unique in-universe thing, which they imply heavily has to do with the old gods somehow, which I don't understand why or how, but like the one gnome who's in charge of it has some weird, inexplicable backstory. But if you just press him on it, he'll just disappear forever and sort of, you know... Wow, there's actually a lot of stuff I could sell that maybe I didn't realize. Okay, so this is good. So you still have 4 slots, which is a godsend compared to what we've had lately. Make sure I didn't sell anything too important. Cracked bill. We got over a stack. You can actually buy the mining pick back for only 16. But just in principle, I feel like I shouldn't be allowed to do that. Let's say we can't do the buyback mechanic just somehow. And let's check the shop. I actually have the trainer. I actually have a decent amount of stuff when it comes to money. So of course I don't have to learn things that I'm not going to be able to use anyway, which is mostly everything. That guy looks like something of an NPC himself. Aspect of the Hawk. Increases range attack power. No. Men pet. I mean, at some point you're going to need that. Let me think if I really want it now. Concussive shot, arcane shot, distracting shot. Wind clip is obviously good. If you're about to die, you can just do that. 5 damage reduces... Yeah, that's going to be a damage ability too. In fact, at times there will be reason to do that. Because you have nothing else to do anyway. Why can't I do it? Wasn't that weird? I was hitting train, but then it was closing the thing. Men pet is going to be important. We'll turn into a healer for a pet. But then again, that's not really what I was aiming to do. Heals your pet for 20 health every second while you focus. Last 5 seconds. 20 health every second is actually quite good. Inflict, I think, you know, on par with, you know, 20 HPS if you're using an actual healing ability at this point. Like in a dungeon, you can almost out heal the healer. Inflicts 5 damage and reduces the enemy's target's movement speed by 50%, which is insane. I mean, PvP purposes. You're fighting a warrior and they do finally get close, but then you can just do that. It can be super annoying actually to deal with sometimes. Like, you're not relying on, oh, concussive shot or this or that. You can literally just do that. Inflicts 5 damage and reduces the enemy's target movement speed 50%, 40 mana. And how much did that cost? auto shoot, it shows you the whirlwind base, icon because of the fact that you don't have anything equipped. That's interesting. Channeled, 50 mana. Some of these are pretty mana expensive, as much as I, don't consider mana an issue. Where's my mining pick go? Oh, in the last bag. Let's turn in the quest with the Goblin dude. What did I kind of skip out on or miss out on? There's a couple houses up here. We could either chill out at the farm, but I think I want to chill out at the one by the edge here. So let's turn this in, and then we'll rest at the house and I'll be good. Or I have a inching notion that I should go take out Fizzle, but we can wait. That should be my rite of passage. I have to do that before I go inside Orgrimmar, which I have only one shot, one chance to blow. Literally. That should be enough just to take him out. Just fighting our way in there is going to be crazy. I can wait till I'm higher level, I guess. Even Men Pet was kind of a... But I almost would like to do it when I have these things on. Kind of a hard decision to make, isn't that? I feel like with that, I kind of want to wait till I have a potion and stuff too, which who knows now how long it'll take before I get one. But then again, 70 to 90 might not cut it anymore anyway, so you want a better one. But who knows when or if I'll ever do that. And before this quest actually gives me one, right on cue. I have to get my thing up to 75. I mean, anybody would just use the bank by now, but I'm perfectly fine with just dealing with it. I kind of want the Orgrimmar advent to be like a big moment. So we'll go and learn our pet stuff before I even have a pet. Or, I won't have a pet at the time. I won't be in a rush necessarily to do that. I want to kind of talk to every NPC in Orgrimmar and really flesh it out because I'm not super familiar with it, I guess. You'd spend multiple episodes just doing that even, fuck. These are kind of bite-sized, shorter ones, too, by my standard. At least 3 hours is nothing. Yeah, we can chill at that house there. Or we could even chill here, but it seems too much naked on the road. I think I can breathe easy now. Yeah, this doesn't do as much. That one fire was doing a ton. Knowing that the harpies won't be bothering our supply caravans anymore. And not one moment too soon either. I hear I'm being sent some fun little toys with me next shipment. Is it going to be something engineering related? You're pretty good at what you do. You ought to track down my boss and Ratchet. I bet you could find some work for you. Oh, and don't worry, I wouldn't forget to pay you for the service you provided. I think this will just sell for the most, I guess.
Have a good one.
But somehow I thought he'd have a longer chain to go on. Dude. 13 is an unlucky number. But not for me. Where is he at? You gotta enter from like maybe the long side and fight your way through. The point is we should still do it in such a way that we can get out. Right, like we'll make sure we can, you know what? Let's not. Let's just not. I don't have all the time in the world anyway. That can be an epic way to start. Next time, not like it'll be much easier or anything either. Be a cool way to flex the thing though. How long could it take? Fine, I'll do it. Just gotta do it in such a way that even if it doesn't work out, you're you're able to get out of there alive. But then we can really feel like we're done with this. Right? Because even though it seems like I have a lot of quests, a lot of them aren't really valuable. Like, I mean, you can't really do them here. That's actually the last one that I see. So there's like Goshek Farm or something somewhere here, right? Or maybe I'm confusing that with... No, that's like somewhere in fucking Arathia Highlands, I think. It's really hard to get in there, too. It's clearly because I have these buffs that I'm trying to do. At 60 armor is going to clearly save me against his 50 fucking damage Shadow Bolt. The only thing that makes me uncomfortable is the fact that I don't have a potion. You could totally slip down like this, but... You kind of got to fight your way in there anyway, so I don't feel comfortable with that. Like, where's the entry point for this? Already brushed with death multiple times today, so you really think I'm gonna worry about this clown? Gotta go in there with the mindset of avoidance though, like just you're able to get out of there if you need to. And he is gonna be the type to flee, unlike these, of course. like right inside his mouth the whole time. I kind of don't like the visuals of this. But be careful with what you loot. Don't just do it mindlessly and actually look for, you know, all the space conservation situations. There's no real good reason why that is such an issue, but it is what it is. Even doing it without a pet is kind of a clown job idea, but as you can say that about most of the content in the game. So we're really stretching out the melee hunter section. We have to feel like we earn ourselves the right to get a pet. So I think I will discount the raptor thing, even though I kind of wanted to do that just in nostalgia's sake. It's maybe not meant to be, and I have to stop auto looting and don't aggro anything yet. So you can clear out just enough to get to the dude. Assuming I won't need a potion, and we clear out all the lizards. Just so you have room to run away. But see, it'll take so long to get to that point that who knows if that'll even be adequate. Like, I don't know. I might be a decent level, but I'm certainly not very strong. And even, it's ironic, like the one time I used the armor thing, I even did 2, like it should stack. The one time I do that, it's not actually relevant here because most of the stuff isn't going to be meleeing me anyway. I guess a little bit, but it actually makes a pretty meaningful difference. So we're like in full tank mode, honestly. Getting like raid buffs to try to go in and do something so crazy. Only thing I wish I had was a potion, and surprisingly we haven't gotten too many from either the chest or anything that we've been doing. And of course the fact that they can crit is kind of amazing. I actually willingly just went with my tail between my legs, and I'm not even a Tauren out of here before, but it was the right decision because what did I expect was going to happen? I can't find him like in the camp there though. I still have to wait. We only get one chance. Like, you have to have the willingness to get out of there if you're in trouble, and I'm almost positive I didn't do this one, but you know, I only just went here and I don't think I had a pick. In fact, it's in such a heightened angle that I don't see how I could have done it. I probably won't even still do it now. It's kind of a mistake, but I guess I'll worry about it in later level areas because you'll have plenty of chances. Like, yeah, think about how many mining nodes must there be in the world, even if you discount each one for each spot. And by each spot, too, I mean like the general area. Like if it respawns from here to here, that should still kind of count as the same one. It's possible I've already broken the rule somehow, but just as a general standard, I'm trying to avoid it. I could totally use like two-handed stuff now anyway, right? But first of all, I don't really have two-handed stuff, and second of all, I'd have to like go to the town to train it or whatever. This is going to be a massive resource dump, but it is what it is. So who even wants me to turn in this quest? Soulscar and Razor Hill. Fitting, but it makes him sound like a warlock trainer even though he's not. For this you might need to use the racial just to get through each of these anyway. I should fight through the entire section here, make sure that nothing will aggro. I guess I don't have to fight through the ones at the very end, but I think this is the room that you basically escape into from there, or maybe not. Or you even have the humanoid tracking so you can see them from a mile away. As long as there's no other people here, you don't have to worry about respawns as much. You gotta wait for your health to come back. Literally level 15 Duratar experience, but when you look at these, it doesn't seem that crazy, does it? These are still level 11, 12. It's not like I'm level 15 now, but you can almost wait the whole 2 minutes, but then you're going to start to run into respawns. That's going to be an issue. Like now, you know that you can run away. And the reason why you know that is because of the fact that, you know, you clear the path in here. There's no way they're going to respawn that fast. So that's the security blanket you give yourself, but then you don't have that in the long run because, like, shouldn't I be able to do this without my racial? I don't see why I wouldn't be able to. I'm impaling myself on the spike on his fucking head there. His channel does worse than if he just keeps hitting me because of how slow it is. Actually, pretty good enemy variety here between all the different beasts, boars, then you have the demons and the thing. They kind of in the first cave in Valley of Trials, they kind of overused the thing a little bit, the Burning Blade. I didn't know there were that many. Like the fact that there's some there too, in the Dry Gulch Ravine. So this is the angle that you run back at. Somebody is still there, though. How? I guess they're jumping down from some other indistinct spot. Which, of course, like how Zalazane taught us that. Okay, dude. It just ruins everything because I can't guarantee what's going to happen. In fact, what if this guy even helps me in the process? Now, one of his things is going to respawn and cost me my whole thing. I guess you can use this in the same way as a potion. Like, if you're about to die, just spam it to try to get out. But maybe I should wait for them to respawn, too. So that you can be sure about your escape. It's not going to be clean, whatever I do. It's going to be still tight. It's like, for better or for worse, whether it's harder or impossible or whether you die, you just want it to be sort of your own experience. You don't want to feel like somebody's helping you. Even these things, I had to waste my... Not that they even help much. Like, what is Spirit really going to do for me? I mean, everything there at least seems fine. The ones that might respawn are these. I'm not going to fight him yet, the guy. But at least be weary that these will respawn. Probably when you least expect it, so... that could be trouble. I'm not even worried about the mining nodes too much right now. Yeah, this is such a bad spot actually to be in. They'll respawn just like one by one. I don't even want to fight this dude. Presumably he came here to even kill that, so maybe the camp is cleaned out. Or he's by himself. But I almost shouldn't be allowed to do that. In fact... If it goes wrong, I don't know that I'll be able to get out of there cleanly either. Okay, let's try to do it like this. Hopefully none of the Kodo's aggro. I don't like to use stuff like that to my advantage. Like, oh, he's by himself. But it's only because some clown cleared it out just now in a way that kind of doesn't make sense. Because you would think he'd be coming there to kill him of all people. Why wouldn't they? All the other ones have respawned too at the same time? Or like he should be the only one that's dead and maybe he left everything else there. I don't know. Missing a lot of mining nodes that I probably shouldn't be. I guess I'm being too particular about... I should get it the first time I go through an area, kind of. We're waiting for all these other respawns. Those ones I don't care about. You got to make a dash from here to there. But some respawn timer is going to fuck me over. You shouldn't feel mad about doing this, but... I don't know what I'm even trying to do with this. The fact that you have to cast it actually makes it untenable. It's not going to work even. Like, I knew you kind of would have to, but I thought it'd be a little more efficient than that. Never mind. This guy's just too strong. Even the way I'm doing it is not the most advisable. Let's go back. We'll chill at the house. Like, why push your luck? Like, you could kill him within the span of those 10, but think about how much damage you're going to take in the process. He's literally hitting like 1/5, 1/6 of my health per Shadow Bolt. You don't have to do this. I'll come back when I'm level 20, like whatever, dude. I'll still do it, but I kind of wanted to do it before I left, but you can see that there's no real math. Like before I go into Orgrimmar. Which maybe I could still do, but we'll see. These were ones at least that I killed, so now this one will respawn. But they're kind of all in there, or maybe not. There's 3, I just didn't see the last one there. Nice draw distance. This was a bit of a clown show of an episode, but we at least did the alligator quest. We did the... What other one was there? I guess I tried to do this one. We did the harpy quest. Now go out of here. Go to the house outside Orgrimmar and we'll chill. And then next time we'll finish up whatever is left to do in Durotar, which would include this, but I'm fine with doing it later. We wasted these, even though that was more so just to conserve bag space. We can sell that. Everything else we really can't sell, so I'll just have to deal with it for now. Been operating on very tight bag space, which is kind of not even part of a hard mode condition per se, but just more so how the very ordered way in which I'm playing this. At least I got out of there pretty clean. That's the bad karma that you get, though. Like, I couldn't even do it with that because it's not even that good. But just somehow, at least you have something in your back pocket. Especially one that sort of stuns them or does other effects later on. There's no real harm in doing that. It's like, oh, you should do a no profession run too, and a no melee run too, unarmed, and no pet, and no talents, and no everything. And I could probably still find a way to do it. Like, what class would be best for doing that. I don't know, like paladins maybe are best just overall because of the way that they just, we end where we start, kind of. This is the chick we did the alligator thing for. She won't be crying in there anymore, at least. We gave her some closure. So let's just find the house here, I guess. There's no quest to turn in because we didn't do the quest there. I don't know why I thought that would go a little better. Just when you see how slow that casting time actually is. Does it even tell you here? It doesn't actually tell you the casting time. When you see that, you kind of realize that, you know, it's just not going to happen. And more to the point, it's like, what do you call it? It is one way to use range. So you could use that to pull something in a situation like I was complaining about. You can't use a dagger or something, but you can use a bomb. That doesn't tie into our trauma of why we can't use range. We got almost halfway to 14 as well, somehow. This is all very organically. Like, I haven't gone too far out of my way to do anything. I don't know why it's stuttering so much. Whatever. There's nothing to even really do in Razor Hill. Let's just go down the way and explore outside Orgrimmar next time. This was a little bit of an overextended session that I didn't think would be quite so bad. Isn't this the one in the middle that I was talking about too? A little bit too close to home in Razor Hill, though. Let's not. Technically, it would count, though. You could use that as a hub to kind of log out at. Kind of a rule set even for that. I'm kind of being a little bit too over the top with how many rules there are and everything, but it's kind of my nature of doing things, right? It'll be unique. Nobody's ever done it quite like this. Good way to kind of get a world first, quote unquote, in a way that, you know, it's world first because nobody's even thought to try it in such a contrived way. But I like it. Something about a tube. He's reminding me to upload it on YouTube. One series that I'm actually doing somewhat regularly in that way. I always think that guy's the engineer for some reason. Handful of copper bolts. Rough copper bomb. Does 22 to 38 fire damage and stuns any target in 3-yard radius for 1 sec. Any damage will break the effect. Rough copper bomb. 1 silver, handful of copper bolts. No flavor text on that. Arc-light spanner is a classic.
Strength.
You probably know it from the Hearthstone line. Pass me that arc-light spanner that the fucking gnomish inventor says. It is actually interesting. I didn't expect like an orc to be the engineering trainer. Somehow I don't associate them with that. Right? They are zug and treated as so stupid sometimes. Like what race would be maybe undead? Either preserve some of their genius from their humanity, or maybe even Tauren somehow I associate it with a little bit, although they're more to do with nature. So yeah, I don't know what race really makes sense to be an engineer on the Horde side, but I guess you can't really judge it like that. I'm just saying from a lore standpoint, gnomes are associated with it so much that they're almost synonymous with it. Even the orc was talking about, like, oh, these gnomish gadgets on the human chips, like as if he didn't know, you know, he's talking about them in such an alien way, not because they're from the Alliance, but because they're so technologically advanced or whatever. We need to learn from their technology. Yeah, like none of the Horde races really feel that super advanced the way that dwarves and gnomes kind of do with guns and stuff. The undead kind of overlap with a bunch of weird stuff, like, you know, apothecary stuff. We got a couple greens maybe to look forward to, but not that these are really the best. I can't wait till I can use a two-handed weapon, but there's no weapon trainer until you actually get to the city. That'll be maybe the main thing we really get from doing that. Then any sort of two-handed axe and stuff we get will be very valuable. Assuming I don't want to dual wield, but even if I do, it'll be a while before I can do that. And I guess I'll say that I'm not allowed to respec either. I don't really see why we would feel the need. It's too bad that I lost my pet, I guess, but doesn't mean that you can never get another one. Like, I wanted the pet to be the main component actually of this playthrough. Like, we rely on them. Like, I even analogize it like, oh, I'm a Warcraft Pokemon trainer, basically. The next episode has to be the last Durotar one. Doesn't mean we can't still come back to it. It's just like, I'm not going to drag it out that extremely much. And so we'll do the fishing stuff too, as we get our house all to ourselves. This is actual real player housing. And it's similar to last time, but we have it literally all to ourselves and not have that bitch crying and wake us up at night. I don't like how your head goes through it there, though. You got to sleep at a better angle. Maybe it's got to make it so your head goes up at the top. The fuck? Why is it so bad? Whatever, that's good enough. No rested experience either. So all we have left is the fizzle dude here. And what else did I want to say? Oh yeah, I have to figure out how to fish in some of those spots. I forgot. I was going to end off with doing that, but I got so infatuated with trying to take him out. I'll come back when I'm level 20 or something and just do it. Just kind of wanted to make it like more a quest completionist thing. Quest completionist.